believe.
Look at us now, tip to
Ooh, Jesus.
Shout out to Morning Kombat.
Do you want a margarita? Yes! My God!
to us, doing what we love. But it's time to bang. Oh, yeah, back from vacation. This guy, back with a bang. This show, it's Morning Kombat Monday, July 28th of the 25s. And yes, we are here. They haven't canceled us. They've definitely
Not
tried
yet.
to. I would like to let you know, though, that we have a great show for you today. Looking back at UFC Abu Dhabi, checking out the latest headlines in MMA and boxing, maybe a little bit of your DMs, then some of my she-app. But Luke Thomas, back off the bird, back where you belong in that chair. I would never smell that chair under any circumstance. This is the chair, by the way, where Pablo Torre finds out. Can't Pablo get to the bottom of the Epstein situation?
Well,
Or would they kill him
they,
first?
you know, vengeance has no bounds. But yeah, happy to be back. Did you see that butt sniffer got arrested?
Yeah, finally, yeah.
You-
he had a good run, though. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, he is the MK fan of the year, so there you go.
My dogs would love that guy. You know what I mean? They really would. It'd be great right there. Luke, how was your vacay? Please tell the people, okay?
You know me, I'd normally like taking these long ass vacations. This one was about half the length of the normal one, and
I know, only 2 episodes. By the way, the people that filled in brought it, so shout out to those guys.
very shout out to Sean Tuttle, Mike Bond. Who else filled in?
Rafe Bartholomew,
Rafe?
Brett Okamoto. made
Brett
his
Okamoto,
debut.
yes. So shouts to all those folks. Dude, I got to tell you, we went to Portugal, and 10 out of 10. I mean,
wow.
what a spectacular place.
Okay, the last time you were at something like this, you fell in love with your wife and soccer in Madrid.
So I went and toured you've never heard of this team, but I went and toured the Benfica Stadium.
The one ever heard, dude, I
Estadio
told
da
you.
Luz.
I told you I grew up in like a town that was called Little
We
Portugal.
stayed.
I know about Benfica, Porto, Sporting.
Okay.
I mean, I get around. all right?
Yeah. Well, the Sporting. I didn't realize how close the Sporting Stadium is. It's just down the way. We stayed literally right next to the Benfica Stadium, and so we had to take Ubers in every day. Dude, Portugal is. I cannot overstate to you. If you've never gone and you've toyed with the idea of going,
Yes.
you absolutely must. I was expecting it to be like Spain, where everything is really nice except the people, who are absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And it was not that way at all. Like in Spain, like they get shitty if you have to speak English with them. They're like, that was not that way. My wife speaks Portuguese for the most part, so it was fine. But dude, English is everywhere. Everything's affordable. You've got a million transportation options. The weather, oh my fucking God, BC, the weather is as perfect as weather gets.
Wonderful.
Hot enough in the afternoon to go to the pool, and then nice enough at night to have just a small jacket
It
for the
sounds
breeze.
like you may have healed part of your soul on this trip.
It was really nice. It did lead to me to have a question, because you grew up with a bunch of people from Portugal.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm trying to understand. How fucking stupid do you have to be to look around Portugal and go, we need to leave this for Connecticut? You got to be the biggest fucking moron
I did know a lot
on the planet.
I did know a lot of families who, by design, the parents would come to the States to start their business, make the money with the hopes of retiring back.
Yeah, that seems right. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot, like, under no circumstance is any part of Connecticut an upgrade. 0 parts.
Tell that to Glover. Teixeira, although he's Brazilian.
That's
But
different. By the way, tons of Brazilians there too, which obviously makes a lot of sense. You can well imagine. I will say the food, not nearly as good as Spain.
Okay.
Fine, good enough. I had a lot of bacalhau.
Yeah.
I had a pastel de natas. I had pastel de Belém. I had a bunch of good food, but not as good as Spain. However, dude, if you want to go see history stuff, they got it. If you want to do a bunch, I took Tuki to the aquarium there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, it was incredible. I couldn't believe how good it was. We took the funicular from one end of the boat to the beach to the other. We took light rail. They have tuk-tuks everywhere. You pay like,
Okay. I didn't know they had that there. All right.
Everywhere. And some of those guys, some of that can be a little bit of a scam. Anyway, long story short, dude, if you've ever thought, hey, I want to go on a European vacation, I don't want to break the budget, but I want to see a cool place, Portugal. Go.
There it is. Whoop, there it is. So that's your travel recap portion of the show. Now I'd like to tell you to follow and burp, excuse me. You can subscribe, please, on YouTube. You can follow us at our extended YouTube channels. Shout out to everybody watching on the DraftKings Network, watching on YouTube, or listening as you do yard work at the moment. We are even in your ear hole. Also, if you like my shirt, and frickin' why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
okay?
why wouldn't you?
Put the cam. Oh, not now. Okay. Why don't you go to morningkombat.shop and you can get this MK Punch-Out shirt designed by L&W. Shout out to that. Not to mention our July exclusive for the final time offering the 3 Margarita shirt. It's not going to be back, guys.
So
One and done here.
officially, Long Island Luke. And by the way, welcome back, my friend. Well, I should say, I'm nice to see you again.
Yeah, welcome back to you, Luke.
Yeah, to me, yeah. How much longer can you buy these?
So these are available till July 31st at 11:59 p.m. So
Got it.
essentially Thursday night, Friday on MK's episode, we'll announce
The
August.
new ones. Okay.
These will be gone.
And reminder, if you haven't been to our website, we now offer multiple colors in every item. So that's the cool part. You can mix and match those colors to your liking. Also, autographed posters, non-autographed, get them while they're still hot, because you don't want them when they're cold. They're morningkombat.shop. New designs coming next month. It's right around the corner. So shop now. Did I have anything else to say? I don't know. What am I doing here?
How were the shows when I was gone? I did not watch them.
They were big and they were important, I thought. You know what I mean?
Unplugged.
In terms of coming off of the pay-per-view, and then, of course, with the Ali Act news, and I don't know.
That was huge.
I mean,
I did read up on that.
What made you more unhappy? Your boy Taporia siding with the Nelk boys or Netanyahu? Which one? I mean, which one?
He is. I mean, like I've said it a million times, dude. These guys make it impossible to want to know more about them.
That's your boy La Leyenda. Okay?
Jesus Christ! I saw
Your
that and
guy.
I was like, all right, well, maybe it's good I haven't interviewed
Yeah.
you. You know.
You can also reach the show at morningkombat@gmail.com for this Friday's return of fan subs and dead wrongs, and showing Mikey
Can I ask a
your
question?
penicular activity. Yes.
Yeah. I watched the highlights, but then I fully watched last night the Max Dustin fight from 318. What is your opinion of how Max looked?
Not pound for pound top 10, but still quasi elite, meaning that at any given fight at this point in his age 33, he can either excel or he could show us the beginnings of turning old, but then can also turn that back. Like Poirier's last 6-7 fights, where it's like, every third fight, it looked like it might be the end, and then he bounces back big.
Yeah.
I think I saw a resurgent effort in this window of the tail end of him in big fights.
I think that because we did preview that show, that fight together. Just very quickly, I wanted to say, I thought that our pre-fight analysis, well, my pre-fight analysis ended up being quite correct, which was that Max's career peak is him as featherweight champion.
Yes.
But he clearly is much better this time and looked much better. Did you think Poirier looked washed? It looked to me like his better days were behind
Diminished,
him.
not
Diminished,
washed.
yes. Diminished, yes. It's probably a good way to put it.
I mean, he got
did
in
look to
killer
be
shape.
He was in insane shape. But I was just gonna say, I felt like it. I felt like the story about what the difference was for Max was the story of the fight. However, I don't know that I saw anyone in there that I thought was going to beat Taporia, or if Islam ever comes back, beat Islam. I didn't see that necessarily.
Well, he might give up the belt to avoid Armin. So there's a lot going on with your boy Taporia.
Well, I mean,
Taporia.
He's just saying a bunch of bullshit.
You also did. We didn't get to hear your thoughts on Usyk, Pacquiao. A lot's been going on.
So the Usyk one. Okay, is Daniel Dubois the dumbest motherfucker on planet Earth?
I don't think that party thing is as bad. He had the party before the Joshua fight too. It wasn't like he was drinking and grinding with chicks.
Joshua, Usyk.
I'm just saying. Look, I don't.
You're dealing with the ultimate chess master.
I don't look at him as a scholar per se, but I look at him as that's the most dangerous version of him. And look, he got God, and people are now questioning. Not does he not have toughness, but does he not have the ability to bounce back after being hurt? Or, I don't know.
Does he not have focus? Is a bigger issue for me. But Usyk, all time fucking great. I mean, he's just so fucking awesome.
Yeah,
dude. Pacquiao looked like.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
It was fine, I guess.
All right. And so we're about to. What am I? There's something not.
You gotta hit your levels right.
When you don't have the levels right, it's like
it does suck.
Oh, there we
also,
go.
Can I ask a question? Did they give bullshit ass music for Poirier and Max's walkout? Did I hear that correctly? Once they switched when Max was walking out to the arena, I heard the Hawaiian kickboxer. But before that, there was some weird ass music. And correct me if I'm wrong. By the way, what the fuck was the point of Lil Wayne walking out with Poirier?
Yeah, that was lame.
If he's just walking out
It
with
doesn't
him?
seem like the UFC would
Hey,
let him.
everybody, there's Lil Wayne.
Did they not let him come out and do the boxing bit where you sing? They don't let you do that.
They
so.
don't. UFC doesn't like guys to do anything different. So, like,
Right.
it just ended up being that. But
I mean, they let him change the shorts, but look, we're on our way to a triple monopsony in combat sports. I don't know if you've been following.
Yeah.
And the Ali
Yeah.
Act will be the
they're
way
gonna
in,
win. They're gonna
the way
win.
in for that to happen. But that's not on our docket today. You've come probably for our first category, but before I get in there, you heard his name once. That is Long Island Luke, the bloke there, the top guy from an Aussie.
did you get dumped while I was gone?
Nope, still reigning, defending boyfriend of the year.
Main Card Minute, great podcast as
Great
well. So
podcast.
thank you for playing this week, Luke.
Thank
Let's kick it off, okay, with our top story. And that is, of course, what went down this past Saturday in Abu Dhabi, a fight night card that was pretty deep from the standpoint of storylines, fighters we need to see. That side of the world does get better lineups and matchmaking, but the main event, a middleweight tilt with title implications and a potential crossroads fight, didn't necessarily see a Robert Whittaker who still didn't have it. We had these two, RDR, Reinier de Ridder, and Robert Whittaker fighting on largely even terms over 5 rounds. And the first 3 rounds in particular being a little bit crazy and fun to watch. In the end, RDR scores a split decision victory over the former champion. With that win, Luke, 4 victories in like 8.5 months as a UFC fighter. Does Reinier de Ridder, is he deserving of putting himself in line for the next shot at the middleweight title after August 3/19 title defense for Dricus du Plessis against Khamzat Chimaev?
I'd like to see it. Now, so if you would just evaluate this performance and then the place of the division more broadly, the only other argument you could make for a title shot, assuming that there isn't some rematch between DDP and Khamzat that we have to entertain, would be Nasruddin Imavov. And he is coming off, obviously, the win over Izzy, a former champion.
But he's in their doghouse in the same way that Evloev is, correct?
He's also fighting Kyle Bohalio.
When is that?
That is September on the Paris
So that's
card.
so it's almost as
Okay,
if
but-
there's competing number 1 contender. fights
Exactly
there,
right. So that's my point, though. He's higher in the rankings. I think he's currently sitting at right around 1 or 2, 3. Is he 3? Yeah, but Strickland's 1. Who's 2?
Now Strickland's 2, and it's like DDP champ, Khamzat 1,
Oh, yes,
Strickland
that's right.
2, Imavov.
The point I'm trying to make is Strickland's not likely to get a next title shot. Khamzat's already there. So, like, Imavov has certainly pole position as it stands today. And I guess if he beats Kyle Bohalio, to me, that would be a pretty your case for then giving him a title shot at that point would be very strong. We typically tend to look at, hey, if you beat Robert Whittaker, that is enough given everything else that you usually have to do.
Historically, you go right to the top.
That's exactly right. That's usually your get out of jail free card, or however you want to put it. That's what I don't know if that should be the same thing anymore. Now we're gonna have a conversation about that. It's not like it's not a good win over a good name who still, to your point, put up a credible offensive effort over the course of 5 rounds. However, what I would say is the fight kind of fizzled out the longer it went. The last 2 rounds, to me, were a lot of RDR just kind of holding and the referee not necessarily intervening. Although
They
the
were
first
both
3
exhausted.
but this is my point. Like, you have a win. This is the UFC resume. He beats Gerald Meerschaert, he submits him. He beats Kevin Holland, he submits him. He stops Bo Nickel with strikes, and then you jump very high to the top of the division and you eke out a win, which is fine. I don't mind that part, but it wasn't like there was any kind of late hardcore push to really seal the deal.
Sure.
He kind of just not coasted, but there was no extra gear into the championship rounds.
There
In
was
fact,
game management in rounds 4 and
game
5
management
from
is
RDR.
exactly what it was in those final rounds. So for me, if they decided to give it to him, which is the one I'd prefer, because I just feel like he's a very unique kind of fighter with a unique skill set, a very unique and weird body type, to be perfectly honest. That to me is more fun. And again, you can make a credible argument. However, is his resume, for as good as it is it more deserving of a title shot than Imavov, assuming he gets that win over Bohalio?
More interesting. It's a lot more interesting.
That's the argument. The argument is ultimately he is more interesting and fun, and God knows we could use some of that in middleweight.
And they do,
but it's not a lights out case.
No, but UFC does tend to reward a lot of activity in a short time, which is what he's doing. They tend to reward the hot hand who has the momentum at that moment. Nobody's got more momentum right now than RDR, but this was supposed to be the fight, if we're really being honest, where he was like kind of found out over 5 rounds. Like if he didn't get an early submission, I talked to Mike Bond in your spot on Friday going like, is there actually a path for victory for de Ridder here by decision? He shocked us all to whatever degree we had, even though he was a slight betting underdog coming in. I felt for this fight to go that way, he was going to have to be on his terms. He's one of those fighters. If it goes on his terms, he can beat anybody. Luke, this went against that grain, and he still got it done. This is not the guy that had irresponsible defense against Meerschaert and got knocked around. What has changed in the last 8 months for him to be from that version of Meerschaert to this one where not perfect, he still gets hit, but there's moments where his striking is effective, and there's moments where it's not, and his gas tank is there, his chin is there. He's also like 2.5 divisions visibly bigger than Whittaker. How do you explain the Meerschaert version of RDR to this one who, yes, is knocking on the door for the title, and I want him to get his shot?
I don't quite know what to explain in terms of the Meerschaert one, because I agree with you. He looked, I don't know, off balance, like a newborn deer. I did not think his striking was particularly interesting in this fight.
Not traditional.
Okay, well, here's the thing. He has those knees to the body, which is the best thing that he does. Those clearly had a monster effect on Whittaker early and often. I love that about his game. It's obviously what folded Bo Nickel as well. They're a potent force. God bless him. And the point you raised, when he's jabbing, he's quite effective with it. But, dude, he is falling over his feet and out of position constantly.
No, he's not technically sound, but there's moments where it's effective. There's moments where he gets off 3-4 jabs in a row and it's sticking him. And
he
you're like,
never
damn.
fires in combination, particularly hand-foot combination. If he does anything in combination, which is rare, it's just hand, and not much more with it. Dude, I can never say this.
So what is the awkwardness?
Well, so first of all, he's really big for the weight class, as you indicated. I think that enables him to absorb shots. Dude, that shot that Whittaker dropped him with in round 3, there was a video. I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you see the video that came out? It was on Instagram. I think UFC put it out. Someone was recording it from their phone, which everyone does now. And you can hear the shot from the phone. Dude, Whittaker laid it on him. The fact that he survived that is fucking miraculous.
And Whittaker was just getting his ass kicked for 10 seconds, so it was this crazy swing of momentum.
So he can absorb shots. And then his passing is pretty dynamic. His top control is pretty dynamic. He's big, and he can just blanket people, both in the clinch and on top. And I think that actually explains a lot of his success. But, dude, someone who is good, dude, Imavov might chew him the fuck up. Because if you have fast feet, if you can take angles, if you can hit and then defensively react or move or set things up, he's there to be hit over and over and over and over and over again.
I got to pause you. I hear in my ear there's breaking news. Let's bring in Luke Nocita.
So we heard rumors that Tatsuro Taira Amir Albazi was off this weekend. There is a new main event. Tatsuro Taira is now taking on Hung Sung Park.
All right, we will break that down.
That is the main event.
In top, is that we have that in the rundown, or is this the?
No, we don't have it in the rundown.
All right, well then let's hit that right now, Luke. We're going to get into it on Friday with our preview of UFC Warehouse. But is this one of the worst Apex cards ever, and it just got worse with the loss of this main event?
Hung Sung Park 10-0. I think he's one of the road to UFC guys, if memory serves. Yes, he is. He won it. 29 years old, coming off wins over Carlos Hernandez, who he stopped in the first. All of his UFC fights are come by way of stoppage. He stopped a guy, road to UFC round 1, round 3, round 2, round 1. Look, I'll say this. I don't know what to make of this main event. The UFC is just plug and play at this point. That's the business model. We know that.
Sure. And they've been great lately. Even, I've liked the fight nights lately, especially when they're on the road. But this is... I
guess my only question would be, Albazi has had a series of health complications over the last couple of years, really. I do wonder if that is playing a role, if this is just traditional, hey, I rolled my ankle in camp or something. I don't know.
Interesting stuff right there. So a new main event for Saturday. We're certainly going to have a lot more on Friday's show to preview that. Luke, what we were in the midst of is certainly talking about the changes Reinier de Ridder made and the parts about him that make him awkwardly elite. I mean, you watch him visibly and he's so slow. So is it like an off timing thing? Because certainly you can relate that to some other sports. Remember in basketball, people just have a off timing. In boxing, certainly he doesn't win by his boxing. His boxing is just there to set it up. But in general, is he just a thing that you can't pick it out on tape? You got to feel it out in real life to try to pick up his timing.
Yeah, I would say that what you notice from Whittaker, I think, is going to be a pretty consistent issue, is that guys don't want to get wrapped up with him. He's got that long arm to clinch over the back, which he uses to trip or at least harass or at a bare minimum stall out guys. And if he does get the back or he does get on top, he's obviously going to be a pretty significant problem. And those knees up the middle are a problem as well. They just don't want close contact with him, but he's long and he's lanky, so they end up having to fight at a distance that I think is a little bit difficult for them. That's what you're noticing. But if you can make him miss, which does not appear that hard necessarily for elite fighters, oh my God, dude, he's there to be feasted on. He has his positioning is terrible. It's terrible. It really is. Like, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I started this conversation by advocating that, depending on how things go, I would like to see him get the title shot over Imavov, which I still hold to. But there were so many times I was like, dude, Whittaker, engage with this fucking guy. You can light him up, and he did briefly, obviously, but.
Well, it speaks to the high-level experience he got at one championship. We know the 2 losses, but at a higher weight class to Malikin. He was a 2-division champion. That all lines up, but maybe the fact that he's fighting so actively, 4 fights in 8.5 months, that, like, people aren't as up on him. This is a hard guy to pick up. He's also got enormous size. He's also got an enormous gas tank. I mean, he really answered a ton of questions in this fight, yet when they went to the scorecards, I really felt... Ultimately, I scored it 3 rounds to 2 for RDR, but I felt like it could have gone either way. When those scorecards were read, did you feel like there was an argument for Whittaker?
Yeah, I thought Whittaker might have edged it. Here, look at these scorecards here. So all 3 are consistent that Whittaker won the first. All 3 are consistent de Ridder won the second.
I gave de Ridder the second.
All 3 are consistent that Whittaker won the third, which I think is the right call.
And that's the wild round where de Ridder was dominating, but then he got knocked down with that right hand. Then he had success after that as well.
Yes, and all 3 are consistent that de Ridder won the fifth. It's round 4 where you have a little bit of change there between them.
I go 2-4-5 de Ridder. What did you score for Whittaker there?
Whittaker, I had 1-3-4, I think. 1-3-4.
I would not have cried foul if Whittaker won that, and it'd be an entirely different scenario right now. And certainly, there's no rigging here. I mean,
by the way, I don't think it's any scandal. Like when
I
they
don't think
announced
it's
de
a
Ridder
scandal
won, I was like, yeah,
or
fine.
anything. But it was refreshing to see a new player in the mix, even if it comes at the expense of one of my favorite fighters of all time, a living legend. It was refreshing to see this new guy on the scene who has this demeanor now as like this cool guy that like doesn't take anything personally, doesn't seem to put a lot of pressure on himself, is obviously training his balls off. Do you still feel like how much did this Whittaker fight do to increase the fuel of the idea that any given night this guy could be the next champion?
I wouldn't say that that's what that taught me. I did not look at that and think, oh, he can. Here's what it taught me. A fight between him and DDP, and I mean this quite affectionately, might be the goofiest fight of all time, right? Because it's 2 guys who...
Be up there with Ben Askren and Maya, by the way, which was the grossest striking we've ever seen.
But I don't mean it like that. I actually mean like you might get a lot of potent offense in either direction, but both guys tend to have these really weird styles where the things that they do don't line up a lot of times with what we would call textbook skill or textbook technical application, and yet the results speak for themselves. I mean, there's an argument to be made. We'll see what happens with Merab against Corey Sandhagen, and if he wins that, I think he's really locking it up. But RDR is in play here for Fighter of the Year with the way he's going. The year is still young. He hasn't locked it up, but he's on. I mean, you mentioned the hot hand. He's on the hottest hands. So, like, to your point, there's a certain level of unpredictability. There's a certain level of they break the rules, and yet there is a clear expectation and deliverance on winning and offense and applicability. So, like, my point is that fight was the one. The reason why I want to see the fight is because if Khamzat wins, I think that RDR might get overwhelmed, but because he's good on the ground, it would make it interesting.
Sure.
The DDP fight to me against RDR is interesting because it would be so outrageously weird that, dude, MMA is built off the backs of weirdness. People think it's built off the backs of wanton violence, and it is, but it's also built off the back of just insanity.
I mean, guys our age who got into the sport in the midst of their early run in the 90s got into it for the insanity of we get to watch a real street fight happen in front of us.
Yeah, but also like...
But no, that's the selling point for you, right? That's how you got in?
Sort of.
You didn't get in under this, while I love jiu-jitsu. No, you're some punk kid listening to grunge music, and you're like, they're going to fight on TV.
No, actually, it was the opposite. I had a friend who was a martial arts instructor, came to the house and said, you got to see what this Brazilian guy is doing to people with jiu-jitsu.
You really did backdoor this.
Yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is, you don't get an opportunity to put a DDP and an RDR together very often, particularly for a UFC title at the same time.
Sure.
And for that reason, that's to me like we need more unique moments. There's so much of MMA that just blends together. There's so much of MMA that just becomes gray and monotone. And RDR is, for all his faults, full of color. DDP, for all of his faults, is full of color. And
those are both white guys, just to let you know them.
I'm saying in a metaphorical sense, obviously, fuckface. And so when you put them together, you get something weirdly magical. That's kind of what I want.
And RDR is kind of delightfully weird. We do have the streaking middleweight talking about what could be next for him. Let's listen in.
Just said I want 30 days of lying on the beach, eating barbecue in Florida, just relaxing. That's what I want.
I feel that now.
Kiss my kids, lay down for a while, and then choke Dricus and Khamzat out.
Dude, can you mute that and show him one more time? I don't know if that's possible or not. Is that possible? Dude, why are you wearing the headphones over your fucking forehead? What is that? He's wearing it like a 1920s
it's probably too tight
helmet.
and he doesn't realize that you can stretch it out. I don't know, but
What the fuck is that?
He does seem like an intelligent man despite that performance right there. We also have RDR talking about how close this fight with Whittaker was and whether he thinks the scores were in line with what we saw.
How confident were you when they were announcing the scorecard that you won?
I thought I was surprised that one judge scored it like completely wrong. I thought I had 3 rounds at least, but yeah, it is what it is. I shouldn't. I hoped to finish him and I didn't. So you never know what the judges make of it, but I'll be sure to finish the next guy again.
Which round did you think the 3 rounds that you won, in your opinion?
I don't know. I gotta watch this back. But at least the last 2 rounds, right? Maybe the second as well. I got on top a couple times. I heard him a couple times with the knee, but this guy is a tough guy. Huh? He was hard to put away. He did amazing. I think I said it a couple times already, but one of the best Robs I've seen in years. He was so calm, collected, very explosive. Yeah, it was hard work this time. See what happens. There's a lot going on in the middleweight division in the next couple of weeks. As you said, I'm a top 5 fighter in the world, man. That's crazy, huh? Who can say that?
In 1 year, by the way.
In 1 year.
Yeah.
And I think I have a good chance fighting for a title someday soon, so we'll see.
In one of his interviews, Khamzat Chimaev said that he is going to give $10,000 for anyone who can submit him in training. Do you think you would be able to do this?
I hope to submit him and make a little bit more than $10,000 in the cage.
If all of a sudden UFC tells you, do you want to be a backup fighter for the championship fight, would you consider?
I'm gonna, if once I hear this, I'm gonna take a full day in the ice bath, recover from this, get in the hyperbaric the next day, and then I'll be ready to go.
Don't be too much of a company guy right there. Luke, if it really did come down to be RDR or, I know he's got it, well, the winner of Caio Borralho.
Oh, I have an update on this.
Versus
Imavov.
Imavov. Then I think RDR would win this. But is there any other scenario? Like, is there anyone else? What if, does Chimaev potentially win the title change this path and bring somebody else back in? What I'm basically asking you is if he doesn't get the title shot next, should he sit out and wait considering he just fought 4 times in 8 months? Or is there another top middleweight that we could see him against, an Adesanya or Strickland or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, those 2 names, apparently Izzy has been calling out Strickland, who doesn't want it. Also, Strickland, as I understand it, now suspended, at least for a little while.
By the Las Vegas Commission?
But yeah,
or the Nevada Commission?
The Nevada Commission, as I understand it. So I don't know how long that's going to last. People being like, oh, he can just fight somewhere else. No, you can't. If you're suspended in Las Vegas, they are absolutely not going to book you anywhere else. It's called reciprocal.
Yeah, unless you're John Jones, they won't move you during Christmas week.
But he wasn't suspended.
I get it.
They just didn't know what to do with him. It's a bit different. Anyway, so there are other scenarios, but it just feels like Imavov would get the nod only if they had some interest in taking him back to France, or if his win is like uniquely amazing.
If he knocks him out after stopping Adesanya.
Yeah, exactly. In that case, but because, obviously RDR did not get the win or the finish, excuse me. But short of that, I think I think he's in a good position here.
Doesn't Roman Dolidze have a big fight coming up?
I don't think he's
fighting
pole
fighting
position.
Fluffy Hernandez not this weekend, next weekend.
But they're Fluffy's still technically in the winner's bracket, right?
Yeah, but he's top. He's in the top 10, not top 5.
He's still further way back. Yes.
Oh, I have an update on Ronaldo. I got a clarification on this.
What the hell are we talking about here?
Because you mentioned Bohalio and how you couldn't pronounce his name.
I never can pronounce his name. No,
Yeah,
it's like you and Macy
Chazon.
Chazon.
Yeah, I can't do it. It's like it's a mental block. I got an answer to this from the Portuguese because I asked like a bunch of people.
I knew you'd do this. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I asked a bunch of them. Okay, so here's what we're misunderstanding. What they told me was the Brazilians, they do take the R and pronounce it like we would take the H or the 2 R's in the middle and like an H.
So, you talking about a hard R here? We HH or what?
Yes. So listen to me. So it's Hoist Gracie or not Ferreira, but Ferreira.
Oh, I was thinking more.
But what they said they do is something a little bit different. To them, they don't really consider it an H. What they say is they, quote, curl the R. So it's a in between an R and an H, still an R, just slightly muted in that way. So it sounds like an H, but they actually say it's more like what the French would say their R is in the back of the throat. Congratulations. There's your answer.
I don't put anything in the back of the throat. I want you to know that. Okay.
Except 5 glizzies at once. I've seen you.
Before we speak on what could be next in Robert Whittaker's future, please put the camera on me because now is a good time as any to remember where tequila's story truly began. Let me take you back to 1795. I don't know when Cuervo invented tequila. Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. We're talking the same family, the same land, that same passion on top of it. 230 years later, folks, Cuervo is still here, okay? In every pour, in every margarita, in every celebration. So enjoy the tequila that started it all, Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. ProximoCuervo.com. Please drink responsibly. Luke Thomas, Cuervo, the sponsor of our rousing pregame preview UFC pay-per-view series. We just had a great one, 318 with Jed Meshew.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think we should have as the third man coming up this August ahead of 319?
Sofia Vergara.
Wow.
Can we book her? We should just, what we should do? We should just book a porn star and then just have her help preview the fights. Yeah.
I don't.
Like Asa. Well, okay, I'll just leave it alone. But
I mean, I would have questions though for. All right, enough of this. Okay. Let's get back to it. I
think the sponsors would really like it if we brought in sex workers to do UFC previews. They would like that a lot.
Transitioning here to topic number 2, and we're talking about Robert Whittaker. He has had an exemplary career. And again, 3 different judges there on Saturday. He could be winning this, and we could be talking about where he fits in this title picture. Instead, we've got 4 losses in 7 fights, all, of course, against top-level competition, which is a big part of RDR breaking through. And we're going to find out if he is title ready. Tough conversation to have because he damn near won it. But is it true to say here, Luke, that the living legend, the Reaper, Robert Whittaker's best days are behind him? If so, what would be the evidence for that? And what do you think is left that should keep him in MMA or UFC in general? While he's still got it, but his repeated times to get back to the top, the door continues to get closed on him.
I do think his best days are behind him. To the point that we discussed earlier, he did not look terrible to me at all. I know folks have said, oh, he looks diminished in terms of his ability to take a punch, but I don't know if he's ever really had a great chin. He's had great resiliency,
yes,
which is very different than the ability to just take a shot and nothing happens to you. But I think a couple things are happening here. He is 34 years of age, BC. This is the second time in his career that he's lost back-to-back fights. The first time was when he lost to Court McGhee and Wonderboy, which ultimately pushed him into middleweight. Those were back at a time when he was at welterweight. But there's really nowhere else for him to go here.
John Jones at light heavyweight to fulfill your longtime fantasy.
I think the time on that one has expired.
Okay.
It was a brilliant idea for its moment.
I mean, it helps when he's in there with RDR, who's a giant, but he looks really small in there on top of it. He's always just been this ball
He's
of
been
fire.
undersized. He looked particularly undersized in this moment. But the issue for me was that, yes, he doesn't necessarily take a punch well, but he does have decent resiliency. he looked to me like he was just kind of out of ideas. He didn't really know how to overcome. And this is a guy who during his peak had the ability to diagnose what the problem was and then effectuate a solution. He couldn't do that here. To me, whenever that happens, that means the game is passing you by. That's always what that means. You can't, if you can't really figure out a way to get around a problem. And he also
he didn't have the motor to do it, to be fair.
Now, he was getting kneed up the gut consistently.
I'm not saying
fight.
he didn't undertrained or whatever. I'm saying when we hit round 4, he was kind of done. You kind of need the young legs and that extra gear to pull yourself to a position where then you could figure out how to win that fight.
To the point, he might have actually known what the solution was and then couldn't physically labor his way into it. So either he couldn't diagnose it and couldn't deliver, or he could, but he couldn't deliver it. But either way,
he's not the same guy.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's half a dozen one way, it's 6 the other. So
but we love him. We don't want to see him be a gatekeeper.
Well,
even an elite gatekeeper, which is kind of where he is right now.
Well, this is where he's headed. This is exactly where he's headed. Now, I suppose, BC, could he effort, and I'm not recommending it. I don't want it. Is it possible that he entertains a return to welterweight as a consequence?
Wouldn't it feel like our great friend Sugar Rashad Evans when he went down to middleweight? It would kind of feel like that, like it's this desperate late move. I mean, he's determined enough to pull it off, but the welterweight pool is even deeper, filled with sharks.
I totally agree. And also, I know what folks might say. They'd say, oh, he's only 34. He's the same age as RDR, but RDR clearly has less miles on him. He's a newer entrant. He's a newer problem to the division. The best work, we talked about this with Max Holloway. Max Holloway's peak came at a time, but he's still, I would argue, doing his best work, not achieving the same heights because the game is different now, but he's better now. Whittaker is not better now.
No,
and I think it's a hard pill to swallow.
Returns and more damage on top of there if he stays. I think, look, I'm speaking for a man's life without knowing, his situation, but at his age and considering he's still got a pretty damn good amount, but we're seeing what happens when you meet the very top of the division. I'd like for him to take that 1 to 2 years off. I'd like for him to even publicly announce a retirement, but know in the back of his head, let me really let myself heal mentally, physically, and see, is there a reason that I want one more run at this? As of right now, to just go back in line, it doesn't, he's too regal for that in some way. He's too good for that, to have him fall into that, but it also happens often, Luke. So let's hear from him. Then maybe we can kind of gauge where he's at. This was him speaking after the loss about the defeat. A quote tweet here. I'm pretty butthurt, to be honest. That's interesting use of slang there. He did what he said he was going to do. I thought I ticked all the boxes, but his pressure was a lot. It's even though that was a really large opponent on a hot streak who was determined and was awkward, all that stuff, it's still where we're at. I'd like to see this guy step away.
There are big fights left for him. I mean, this is the problem.
I'd take an Adesanya trilogy any day because I thought he won the second one. Okay.
He didn't, but the reality, I mean, is there much of an appetite for that though?
No.
Wouldn't you rather see, for example, what's your level of interest in Whittaker Strickland? I
mean, I wouldn't hate it, but we're still having the same conversation we just had.
Okay, but you have a case there where is Strickland gonna beat him up real bad? I mean, Strickland might win.
Are you doing the whole what are you gonna do? Point fight me bit? Is that what you're...
No, I'm saying you can give him big fights where you're not risking him getting thrashed. But he could lose, but he wouldn't necessarily get thrashed. And at this age, isn't that something that you would want to see?
He can get volume punch to complete the joke. Yeah, I get it. I hear what you're saying, but would a win put him back? Do you think he's earned the sort of thing where as long as he's active and can still beat a guy like Strickland who's coming down, it seems, from the top, that he's still a phone call away to get a title shot if needed?
No, I think that point had passed.
Then why keep going is my question, because that's not a big enough fight where it's like, okay, well, you got that lottery ticket left in your pocket. It's not Conor Nate 3, right? So it's not like something that you say, well, maybe we can do this one more time.
I don't know what kind of financial planning he's done. I don't know what his plan is for after fighting. I don't know what any of that looks like. If he has a decent plan in place, I think now it's time to hit the parachute.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens after this. He'll win some big fights. He'll make some decent money. But he's this right now. And the Khamzat fight was kind of a prelude to this. Now, that was a pre-existing kind of thing, so people are going to dismiss it. What happens after this is it's not automatic losses. That's not my point at all. But it will be more losses than wins because they're going to give him big names, and they're going to give him up-and-coming names they're going to try and feed him to. And this is where the terrible injuries start to happen in the octagon. This is right here, where somebody breaks a jaw, where an ACL gets torn, and you lose the fight on top of it. This is where the problems begin to emerge. So to the point raised previously about who
You're on the verge of being like, I think Cain Velasquez would fuck you up. Like, this is one of those type of talks, right?
No. I mean, what are we doing? Okay, we're doing skits and bits here.
But you had that tone, and I was feeling the moment. It kind of reminded me of that.
Here's who is, again, these rankings will change, but here's who's ranked below him before incorporating Saturday's results. 6 is Caio Borralho, 7, Cannonier. You want to see Whittaker Cannonier? I don't have much of an interest in that.
I actually would see that again because Cannonier lately is
you have a hard on for Cannonier, though.
Cannonier
and
lately
you've
is
always had a
brawling.
Cannonier.
Didn't Cannonier break his arm in their first fight?
Yes,
too,
and badly hurt Whittaker in round 3, but Whittaker recovered.
Yeah, I don't have much of an interest in the rematch.
No,
your mileage may vary, but
I'm good.
Okay.
I mean,
hold on, let me finish. 8 is Dolidze, 9 Hernandez, 10 Brendan Allen.
No.
11 Paulo Costa. We already saw that one. Marvin Vittori. Reinier de Ridder obviously just beat him. And then A-Bus Magomedov, and then Roman Kopylov, who fought like shit, by the way, at UFC 318.
Okay, so we just answered our question. The answer is Shara Bullet, really. Seriously. Like, if you want to keep fighting, that's kind of the perfect...
That's where you're at with
That's
this.
where you're at with this. We do have Whittaker's resume to pump up, and if he did never fight again, been calling him a living legend for years. For a guy that only had one reign and it wasn't that long, he showed top-level quality throughout his entire career. Luke, I had played this on Friday, but it looks like, let's look at it one more. These are the names that he shared the cage with. Didn't win them all. You certainly can see the Wonder Boy lost at welterweight.
He fought the very best that his generation had to offer.
10 rounds with a prime dangerous Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
10 rounds.
10 fucking... That took miles off of his fucking
and then that
life.
comeback run where he went through Cannonier, and got hurt in that fight and won it. Vittori's never an easy fight in terms of the durability there. He fought Brunson, fought Tavares, fought Jacare, Till, Gastelum, Paulo Costa, the title level twice without Adesanya. It's tough because I always assumed he would get back and win it again. I always assumed that.
Dude, once that title gets separated from you, it is very, very rare that you can reconnect with it.
I mean, Juliana Pena is one story, right? I mean, seriously, so is Cookie Monster Esparza. Like, that's kind of rare that happens.
Okay, you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm not dunking on them. I'm just saying there's different levels to this, but some great fighters just never get back.
Yeah, in a competitive division, once you lose, reasonably competitive anyway. Not that middleweight is like the most competitive, but reasonably competitive. Once you lose the belt, that's why even Izzy, who got it back, then lost it again very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? It's just very, 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 your reign at the top is short like leprechauns, man. That's
this
what
is
it is.
An unforgiving sport of the most unforgivings in combat sports. This one's really unforgiving. I mean, boxing too, but boxing, it's like the long-term damage. This is like the
I would say
short-term.
slap fighting is pretty unforgiving, but it's not. No one cares about it, so it's different.
No, actually, no. Where are they on now? YouTube? They're down to YouTube?
Bro, I could put my balls on YouTube.
Is that where slap? What is slap down to for a TV deal?
I think it's on
TBS.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube.
Truth Social next. Okay, that'd be awesome, right? That'd be fantastic. Let's go to topic number 3.
It's on Telegram.
We're looking at the co-main event on Saturday's card, which saw former bantamweight champion Petr Yan restore that image. A tough fight at times against a 35-year-old but streaking Marcus McGhee, just from the standpoint that McGhee did land a few big shots. But this is 3 straight wins here for Yan, who is very much at age 32, still looking like a dangerous out for any 135er. With the 3 in the row, though, he's got to be in consensus discussion to be next in line for the winner of Corey Sandhagen's title shot against Merab Dvalishvili coming up right around the corner. So that said, Luke, is there any reason to think a fight with either Merab, and Yan lost the first time, or Corey, and remember Yan beat Sandhagen in their meeting, would look any different? So if he caught the winner of this title fight, it'd be a rematch for him either way. How much do you think has changed since the first time he fought those guys?
Well, okay. I don't know if anyone will agree with me on this. Once I get my opinion out, I'd actually love to hear what Long Island Luke has to say, because I think he probably will represent a different demo on this one.
The Long Island demo. Yeah.
The Long Island demo, which is, barely literate, but we love them just the same. I see you. Okay. He looked great against Marcus McGhee. There were a lot of questions about whether that was a suitable opponent for him, and I thought McGhee had done some things to give himself a bit of a boost in profile.
Stay busy fight.
Stay busy.
Heat check on McGhee, stay busy.
That's right. And, the kind of thing where if you're slipping at all, McGhee would notice it, but Yan looked fantastic for the most part. He looked pretty great. Yan has a weird cult following where his fans really love the way that he fights, and by virtue of that, overestimate how good he is.
And they also love the way he talks. Seriously. He gives cold one-liners.
He gives great one-liners. Let me explain what I mean, though. Once again, how much of MMA just kind of blends together where everyone is learning the same skills and fighting with the same meta and doing all the same things. It happens quite regularly. But in this particular case, Yan has a very unique kind, or not very, but a reasonably unique kind of style, BC, where he puts interesting combinations and he has throws and trips and, you know, he just, that one, I think he hit like an Osotogari and then goes right into that, he hit the, yes, he hit the, I think it was Osotogari and then goes right into the Kimura on Marcus McGhee. He's got this very fun way of doing that. But he's riding 3 decisions in a row. McGhee is a guy who you would have imagined if you believe that Yan is as good as his cult would tell you that he is, probably should have finished him. I think McGee's a good opponent. Let me explain this.
Okay.
So what is interesting about Yan is he fights in a very, or I should say again, relatively speaking, a unique kind of way. And he has put together enough quality wins where, to me, no brainer, he gets the title shot. Like,
Okay.
of course. But your question was, do we expect it to be different? I do not expect the fight against Merab to be effectively different. I would Merab scored 50 takedowns on, or excuse me, attempted 50 takedowns on him. 49 to be specific, right? So even if you have that, right, let's just say 24, all right, because you can't do 24 and a half, but 24, he's probably still gonna win. Also, Merab has gotten better. The more interesting fight to me is not that. The more interesting fight is Yan versus Sandhagen 2, because Sandhagen actually has gotten a lot better.
Okay,
Whereas
but I think
feel like
Yan has
Yan,
too, though. I think you're okay. I don't
think Yan's gotten effectively better.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with the fact that because Merab is so unique and he's on such a hot run that it might look the same all over again. It might. I'm seeing a more calculated Yan without sacrificing the power, the well-roundedness, the explosion
That's
factor.
why he's going to decisions all the time now.
I know that, but isn't that a better starting point to deal with Merab spanning?
That's good enough to get wins to a title shot. It's not good enough to put you over the hump. The more calculated way he's fighting is the thing that is securing his title shot.
It might also be the thing that catches Merab coming in and disciplines him. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think so. I would be very surprised by that.
I think he's got a better chance of beating Sandhagen, not just because he beat him already, but I think it's a style matchup in which his consistency is well-rounded.
And to be clear, I would favor him in the Sandhagen fight, but I'm saying Sandhagen has made up enough ground now where I'm like, okay,
let's
that
hear
one
the
could be a
Long
little
Islander. Are you feeling Yan after this fight? Because I'm feeling him again.
So again, and then the stipulation is there's not a question, Long Island Luke, that he deserves the title shot. Like that much is without debate. The question is, do you think you'd get a reasonably different fight, either in the Sandhagen case or in the Merab case?
I think you nailed it, Luke. I don't see it going any different with Merab, but I could see it going different with Sandhagen. I could see it being a little closer this time around. Also, I tried to just Google it quick. Am I making this up? Didn't Sandhagen like tear his ACL or MCL or something against Yan the first
He did get
time?
injured, yes.
I can't remember if I'm thinking that or the Dillashaw fight. They were right around.
Oh,
each
no.
other.
Maybe it was the Dillashaw.
Yeah,
Well, no, because Dillashaw got injured in that fight too.
No, that might be what I'm thinking of. Dillashaw getting injured. Either way, I don't see them really going any different this time
I still
around.
see the ending being the same, Merab by decision, but I see Yan being more dangerous and making it a different fight. In the end, it's still the same thing, but I'm not.
How can you be more reserved and more dangerous?
Because you're being more efficient at choosing the right moments to be dangerous.
You're also being more.
I feel like him being over-aggressive.
You're also spending less in terms of offensive output.
Right, but you're
How
going
can
to
you
need
beat Merab?
to stay off.
Dude.
He doesn't want to be on his back as much as the first fight.
Fine.
To stay off of it,
Fine.
you've got to be more off the back foot and more in a position to stop that.
I mean, let me just be clear. The evidence is in. You are not going to beat Merab holstering offense. Not going to fucking work. There's not a bantamweight alive, Corey Sandhagen included, who can do that.
But the more aggressive Yan is, the easier it is for Merab to take him down.
True, but this is the problem with Merab. The issue with Merab is that you kind of have to throw, I'm not going to say caution to the wind, but Corey Sandhagen, to me, I'm picking Merab to, until Merab gets beat, I'm not picking against him.
I'm still picking him to beat him.
So let me just say this. Until Merab gets beat, I'm not picking against him. However, Sandhagen has said something I think is exactly correct in the lead up to this fight, which is, you're not going to fucking beat this guy by decision.
Yan will
You
make him
have
box
to knock
in the
him out.
rematch.
You have to submit him. Dude, how is he going to make it a boxing match if Merab's not going to let him?
He won't be on his back as much. You'll see a different Yan is what I'm saying. It's not going to be enough to win, but I'm saying that you're going to see him give himself a much better chance in the first fight.
I think he'll make it where
he's matured.
He's not going to get as run over as a consequence, but he's also not going to have as much high as a consequence because he'll be so reserved.
I'm going to side with those Russians. I'm going to side with them on here. He's
rejuvenated. Sandhagen, again, I'm not picking against Merab until he loses, but Sandhagen's approach of, I'm just going to go for the kill on this guy, I think actually is going to take you, the chance that gives you a win is higher than, I'm going to be careful against Merab.
Okay,
You're going to be careful en route to a
careful.
Unanimous decision loss. That's what's going to happen.
Everyone is on their way to a unanimous decision loss. Let's see Yan react to the congratulatory tweet.
Yeah, that was a word.
From Merab, who wrote, great fight at Petr Yan. Piotr, congratulations. Thanks, Merab, said Yan in response. Good luck in your next fight. Hopefully it's me and you for the belt after. I'm into that. Where's Umar fitting into this? Who's he got?
So Umar has a fight coming up against who they announced it yesterday, Long Island Luke. Who was it? Oh,
did they announce?
Yeah, no, isn't he fighting Mario Bautista?
Did Umar turn down a fight with Yan, correct? For this past fight. That should have been Umar, but he was hurt.
He was hurt, is my understanding. Yes. I believe that they said I believe I saw reports that saying he was fighting Mario Bautista. Because I had someone send it to me being like, finally Umar's going to beat this bum. People hate Mario Bautista. I don't. What do you have?
I got nothing, but I'm trying to put up his topology right now to see if he has a rumored bout.
Can you play the tape here of Petr Yan agreeing with me that the Merab rematch will be different?
Do you have a preference on who you would rather win between Merab and Corey? Obviously, you have a win over Corey, and you'd like to avenge the loss to Merab.
А когда бой назначен? У меня предпочтений.
Yeah, obviously I prefer to rematch Merab, to see how I'll do against him when I'm healthy. But Corey is also a great fighter, interesting fighter. We had a great fight with him. And I believe they're going to have a good fight. But I just believe Merab's pressure is going to be a key factor, at some point Corey is going to fade.
You're now close again to a title shot, if not you're next. What would you do different? Let's say Merab is the next opponent.
Во-первых,
first of all, I want to show up healthy, and now I understand that how I have to adjust my fight camp and prepare better for Merab. Now I know what to expect from him.
I'm telling you, Luke. I'm telling you. So is Piotr. Yeah, he got handled that first fight. You're going to see in this rematch, it's going to be a little bit different. Still going to lose, so I'm not putting that much out into the world of like this,
then what is the point of like being? I don't understand the nature of your argument. Oh, it'll be different and he'll still lose. Well, who gives a fuck?
Well, people that care about MMA, apparently.
No. I don't believe that. I think you should have, if you're going to argue that you have enthusiasm.
I think it's going to be a great fight that's going to be close, but I think Merab just finds a way to outwork you in the end.
I don't understand how you can threaten Merab holstering offense. I just don't understand that argument.
Well, you got to win 3 rounds against him. So that's the...
Doing what, motherfucker? Doing what?
First thing
you got to put it on him.
The first thing you have to do is dissuade him from taking you down easily. So that's the first thing you have to do. I think you also slow the pace down and allow the offensive skirmishes to happen when it's an advantageous position for you.
I think waiting around like that is a fucking disaster to go against Merab.
It changes if you can give Merab caution on shooting at will. Then it changes. You have to do that first.
And who has done that? Who has done that holstering?
I'm not saying, but now you got Yan saying he was hurt the first fight. I know everyone's hurt, but I'm saying like now he's looking at as I got to come in with a different plan, different mindset. You're going to get a tougher challenge than you got the first fight. That's basically what I'm saying.
I think you might get a somewhat closer fight. I don't think you actually get a tougher challenge. You're telling me that Yan can do less and get more, and I simply don't fucking believe that. Not against Merab. Maybe against other guys. Not against Merab. No chance.
Okay, we'll see when they fight. I mean, things have to happen first, but we'll see.
And also, like, what if he comes out and fights balls out? In which case, different story. But I'm under the premise of what you're saying.
All right, the crowd on Saturday in Abu Dhabi,
Abu Dhabi,
Yabba Dabba Doo.
Yabba Dabba Doo.
They started filing out, which is kind of becoming a trend on foreign markets. We flash back, of course, to Azerbaijan, Baku,
they didn't give a fuck.
Baku, where they just walked out like hell during that main event. David Shaw, the North American or the international mouthpiece of the UFC, who never really has answers to things, was sort of like, Dana promoted the shit out of this. It was matched properly, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to change anything is what he's saying at the end. What do you make of, though, of the crowd being so kind of regional centered, right? Like they want the fights. They want their certain fighters. Or do they just not have interest in the matchup in this main event?
I mean, I just think it's like, dude, clearly the way the UFC puts their business together works for their interest. There's really not a lot of argument against that. But if you're having guys, or I should say, if you're having multiple cities where the people are filing out before the event is concluded, despite the fact that like that main event was great and it was the two biggest names on the card, right? I mean, I guess you could say Yan maybe was a bit, I mean, not even really that, but.
Is the answer to your question the same thing of why would only 3,500 people show up to Canelo fighting in Saudi? It's just a different market.
It's just also like the reality is if you're going to construct your business in the way that they are constructing it, where they're going to these foreign governments for money and then they're putting these fights in places that wouldn't be like.
They're not hotbeds.
They're not hotbeds. And also like more to the point, if you were really trying to maximize a hot audience, where would you take that fight? You take it to Australia or take it to the Netherlands, right? Period. There are other places you could go, but to those places. And they're not doing that. And so there's just not as much audience investment as a consequence for those reasons. I think the UFC is probably like, well, we still made a good fight, which they did. And if that happens, it happens. It's just a little weird that it's happening. Like the Baku one was different to me because did that one air on linear TV or was that strictly, I think it did air on linear TV, right?
It was on ABC, just like this one.
So like they're putting fights on ABC, on network television where the audience is filing out. And I'm like, I don't quite understand the value of that part.
Well, they're prioritizing the site fee, obviously, that they're getting, and not.
I get it. It's the way they organize their business, but like there's leaks in the system, and one of the leaks is the audience is like in not on TV, but in attendance. We don't give a fuck about your main events, so
they still cash in them checks. What'd you make of middleweight Shara Bullet bouncing back from the loss to MVP that stopped his string? Getting a 30-27 unanimous across the board decision over a tough as shit Marc-Andre Barriault, but also like getting his nose popped, and you knew that dude was in a fight at the end. In terms of the scoring, he dominated. He also got fucked up at certain points in that fight.
Once again, the pirate gimmick is the lamest gimmick in all of fights. Arr, matey, welcome to medieval times. I'm putting two together here. It's just, I mean, there's nothing cool about a pirate. Like it never has been, never will be.
Oh, come on. When Johnny Depp reinvigorated piratism, you've got to.
Can I tell you, I've never seen a single Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Doesn't surprise me. You would make a hardened opinion on something. I've actually never seen it.
Who's the coolest pirate in history? The guy who took Tom Hanks's fucking thing? I'm the captain now? That motherfucker?
I like that guy. That guy was
all right, it was pretty hard. But anyway, what I'm trying to make is,
Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds, they were pretty good pirates.
Okay, where's the horn, asshole? That was a great one.
Not gonna lie, we were having a separate conversation.
It's not his fault. He was born before 1998.
I guess the point I would say is there's another one of these guys where there's a lot of hype around Shara Bullet, but like, and he's clearly good. He's clearly good. He's not great. And this is the gap that you're noticing where he's not able to get over the hump. He can still win. He can beat good guys, but he's not like Khamzat just fucking tearing through the division. He's not that guy.
Or not like light heavyweight Bogdan Guskov, at least on Saturday, Luke.
Well, you know what?
In that first round demolition of Nikita Krylov, in the final minute of the first round, brutal finish.
I mean, Krylov just throwing naked kicks constantly, and then he gets timed with one. I don't know what to say. Like,
But is this for real? Is this who he is?
I'll say this. You know what? I'll parrot what online analyst Jack Slack had to say. He's not good, but he's definitely light heavyweight good. And that's good enough for now.
4 straight victories, all by stoppage.
Yeah.
Not against killers, but a Ryan Spann, a Krylov. That doesn't suck.
Listen, he's beaten the guys they put in front of him, and you can't say it hasn't been a little bit of fun.
He got subbed by No Time Ozdemir in his last defeat.
Ozdemir's good, though.
Had a 4-fight win streak before that, so he's got to break through that next
exactly.
level.
He's got to break through the next ceiling. But, Ozdemir's good. That's not the worst loss ever.
All right, we're getting a lot of talk about the officiating in the second fight of the evening on the prelims, the featherweight bout between Steve Nguyen and Mohamed Yahya, Luke. Referee Jason Herzog, who, broke the rib of Arash Markazi that time at that referee symposium thing. No. Okay. Should he have stopped that fight earlier?
Yeah, he
Twitter
should've.
was on fire over this.
Yeah, he should have. I really hated that.
Oh my God. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
And this is to say nothing of like the trauma that his brain took. People were like, oh, should there be like a knockdown rule? No, there shouldn't be a knockdown rule because I can imagine getting clipped and then losing your balance. Not like from like, oh, my head hurts, but from the mat being slippery or something like that. I don't know. We don't need a formal knockdown rule, but by the fourth one, I was like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here?
So there were 7 knockdowns in this fight.
Yeah,
which
6 in the first round, I believe, and then 1 in the second round.
After he had that alien grow on his eye, they kept it. Herzog let it go.
Let it go. And then he did rock Steve win, which people are like, oh, well, it's a great, it's sort of the interesting narrative there. But dude, the amount of damage you take under repeated knockdowns like that, also like the kind of thing that signals is your defensive unpreparedness for the task at hand. Yes, that should have been stopped inside the first round. I hated that lack of a stoppage. And we've been critical of Jason Herzog more recently than we have in a very long time. Is that my imagination? It feels like he's come up on, for example, like in Henry Cejudo's bout with the eye pokes and how he handled that in this case. And I think there's been some other ones recently. Herzog has for a very long time been one of my favorite referees. Feels like in the last year or so, he's made a series of decisions or lack thereof decisions that have made me. I didn't love it.
I'm with you.
I didn't love it.
Even Herb has been like that lately.
Well,
you think that's going to be going on longer?
A lot longer.
The Herb decline?
Herb is not incapable of making good decisions. He still has stoppages where I'm like, that's a great call. But they're just inconsistent.
And who's the best right now? Mark Goddard or that dude that took the point away in that fight?
Mark Goddard's pretty good. Oh, who was good? Who was the Tabitha Ricci and was it Dan Movahedi?
Yes, he's been climbing.
Dan Movahedi broke them up when that position stalled, I think, in the first round, and I was like, thank you, Dan Movahedi.
You were the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. That's what you were.
That guy. I was like, thank you for fucking doing that. So,
can we give props to 41-year-old welterweight Muslim Salikov, who had his 3rd straight win, his 2nd by stoppage, and Islam was going. Wow, I mean, look, we're doing a live show here. I mean,
sorry.
We got you're banging and tinging over there. I mean, just be like my mom. Just turn the ringer volume up at full blast.
I've often said, if your phone audibly rings, you deserve to be defenestrated out of a fucking building.
It was powerful. It was against Carlos Leal, and it was in the first round. I know this guy isn't going to be fighting for a title next to welterweight, but he looked like a killer in this
fight.
Dude,
Carlos Leal, he's got another one of these guys got like a slightly weird cult following him because he did get hosed in his last fight against Reinier de Ridder. But, dude, I want you to pay attention. The shot that Muslim Salikov stops him with when he comes down and then goes over the top is real nice. However, I make this point all the time because I see it on tape study and it drives me fucking crazy. Pay attention to how many MMA fighters, particularly in the UFC, get stopped as they are directly, squarely in front of their opponent. Being square with your opponent isn't always bad. In fact, sometimes it can be necessary.
Sure.
But if you're starting bladed and then you're winging shots and then you're bringing your back foot to come and now face your opponent head on.
Unless you're David Benavidez, you can't do that.
Unless you're David motherfucking Benavidez, stop fucking doing that! So many fight and they get fucking hammered for it by anybody with a competent striking game. Muslim Salikov in his 40s, but a target of opportunity, he'll take it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hated that fucking performance from Carlos Leal.
And our featured prelim in his first fight at bantamweight, Bryce Mitchell got the win in a very hard-fought grappling match against Said Nurmagomedov, in which Bryce would ultimately say afterwards was the hardest fight of his career. Let's hear Bryce's post-fight comments.
Yeah, dude, it was just really, really hard fight. And I wish it would have been more exciting for the fans, but I was just fighting for my life. Like, I really was praying during the fight, like, Jesus, just keep me alive, because the fight felt like death. I remember fighting for air. I remember getting hit and seeing lights, and I remember, like, coaches telling me between rounds, like, you can do this, just like dig. And, dude, it was a really, really hard fight. And if you ever get in one of those, I just recommend you pray, because that's literally what I was doing. I mean, I wasn't figuratively. I was literally praying, Jesus, please just keep me alive. And I was fighting with all my strength. And, like, afterwards, I was, like, overheated. Like, I could barely move. I was so hot. It was, like, hard to breathe after the fight.
He also gave a post-fight speech in the cage that was, like, a lot of love. A lot of love for the
but
crowd.
then he referred to the synagogue of Satan that was coming after him. So
he also said Arabic. Remember, he spoke Arabic to the Russian reporter, thinking he was Muslim because of his accent.
Yeah, I don't need to like him as a person, which I don't.
But does he look like a player at bantamweight? Because that's not an easy fight. He didn't look amazing, but he was gritty.
Okay, so I'll give him credit. It was definitely a gritty performance. No question about it. That was a tough-ass fight. But Nurmagomedov has some fight IQ issues, especially as the fight goes long.
Sure.
So I'll say this. He definitely grinded it out. He definitely did what he needed to do to get the win, and it was tough. And
Gas tank held up in a new weight.
I will respect that. But I didn't see anybody who was going to make a run at bantamweight. I can tell you that.
That's fair. That's fair. Women's strawweight activity. Tabitha Ricci getting the stoppage, hitting Amanda Ribas in an elbow directly in the eye, re-aggravating a former injury, breaking her damn face. You saw she was in the hospital afterwards. Ricci, she got close to the top level, but didn't seem like she had finishing ability. Didn't seem like she brought enough danger. It was the perfect shot at the perfect time, but could you see her climbing now at 115 after this?
Well, if she can keep doing that, I mean, I don't know if I can say one performance gets us there, but that was a really nice. Okay,
she was more aggressive too. She was pushing the clinch and really.
So this is my issue with women's MMA more broadly, which is that they just don't have enough offensive capability. And then her coach told her about that elbow, which it started at this angle and then finished with this angle, which was fucking nice, man.
Yeah.
That was really, really nice. This is my issue with some of the state of women's MMA, which is that there's just not enough skill development. So if she can continue to build on that and do more, it doesn't have to be like elbows against the cage, but I think she's got something going here. I just want to make a point. I've said this a million times. Takedown defense is one part if you're getting pressed against the fence, literally stopping the takedown. But I cannot overstate how critical it is, and I've been saying this for years at this point. You must have the skills to extricate yourself and get your back off the fence.
Yeah.
And I understand Ricci was pressing hard, had the head position, had the underhook many times. I get it. Not an answer. And look at the consequence of the result. She's able to whip up that elbow and then obviously score the stoppage. Not being able to get yourself off the fence, especially against a non-championship level fighter, inexcusable in the UFC in 2025. Inexcusable. You must be able to do it.
Even though this is the better weight for Ribas, she does find a way. She can look elite at times, but she does find a way to have too many holes defensively where it opens up opportunities.
She had that Harai Goshi she threw that landed that was nice, but she couldn't do a lot with it, right?
Yeah.
So she gets this amazing throw, and then Ricci just kind of uses the fence to get back to her feet. Ricci put things together here. To answer the question, let's see if she can keep putting things together.
Yeah.
Here.
Who did she come up above water and lose to in that loss that stopped her run? It was Yan Xiaonan by decision that stopped
who, in fairness, is real good.
And she dropped a split decision previously to Lupi Godinez, but she's beat pretty decent competition in between. Now she's going to get a step up for sure after this. The curtain jerker of the night. So a former one championship fighter, and am I fair to say jiu-jitsu legend or just accomplished jiu-jitsu practitioner?
No, he's a legend.
Marcus Buchecha went in there against
it means fat cheeks.
The hanging love pouch of Martin Boudet, who had fat cheeks on the. I mean, who am I to judge? He got the win, but Buchecha gassed for being that jacked.
Dude, he looked terrible.
He had a couple good moments on the ground, but his striking's
not
ready.
What blows
for
my
prime
mind
time.
is like, dude, if you were watching jiu-jitsu in the 2010s and you watched the wars between Buchecha and Rodolfo Vieira, and then if someone would have told you, hey, both of these guys are going to end up in the UFC, you'd have been like, holy fuck, yes. And then they both got there and you're like, damn, this ain't shit. Like, this is not at all what I was hoping for. I know Buchecha had a decent win against Amir Albazi, but that win against Rug really, to me, portends what you've got with this guy.
Yeah.
And dude, here's the part that drives me nuts. If you watch Buchecha's jiu-jitsu career, he was very skilled. I want to be clear. Like, he was very technical, obviously. If you're going to win multiple titles, without the gi, you're very technical. But let me be honest about something, BC. He won a lot of those too. And I had this conversation with a high-level black belt because he was such a fucking dynamic athlete. Okay? He had a clear athletic advantage over these guys. Dude, did he look more athletic to you than Martin Boudet?
He's pretty damn built, but he gassed,
But
man.
he didn't, dude, he would move like a fucking
robotic.
panther in jiu-jitsu.
No, on the feet, he's a little robotic.
On the ground, he didn't look that great. He fell off the back of Boudet one time because he got a little high. I was like, dude, was he
This could have
sick?
been a showcase entrance fight for him, and instead it completely... Did it completely expose him, or was this like, go back to get in better shape, and then we'll see what we have?
It wasn't like this one fight exposed him. It wasn't like the Bo Nickel RDR thing. However, in concert with other lackluster performances that had similar contours to this one, you're like, dude, what the fuck is happening here, man?
Just as
very
RDR
underwhelming.
really makes one look good, and people are tweeting about wanting Malakin in the octagon. You know what I mean?
Well, who doesn't want to see Malakin in the
Damn
octagon?
right. He's not young either, by the way, that fella.
Malakin?
Yeah, he's like 36, 37. He's
Okay, but it's heavyweight. I mean,
yeah, I'm with you right there. All right, let's keep it going to topic number 4. Dana White has made a bunch of announcements last week that really have the late summer and fall looking red hot from a main event and co-main event level, but the missing link was the co-main event to UFC 319, August 16th in Chicago. We finally have it, and we'll see featherweights as Aaron Pico, who lost his UFC debut fight, now gets a replacement here in Lerone Murphy. They will square off, likely, of course, for title shot implications. Pico feels like a hot product coming in here as a free agent. This will be his debut, Luke. So do you like this fight at all as a replacement for the Pico debut, or do you see potential trap fight capabilities for Lerone Murphy and his style in what should be a chance for Pico to come in and impress? And like we said, Asakura got a title shot in day 1. Patricio Pitbull was kind of set up to get a title shot if he had beaten Yair Rodriguez. There's a lot at stake here. Is this the right opponent for the entry, even though he lost his original opponent?
so he was supposed to fight on Saturday, obviously.
Evloev.
Yeah, and it fell apart, obviously, by no fault of his own. So he has to extend his camp a little bit. There's always a little bit of a concern with that, but I actually think that's better than what you get with Murphy, which is, 3 weeks notice or something, which is hardly time to prep. I'll say this.
Tough opponent on 3 weeks.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. It's out of the frying pan into the fire with this one. So the problem with fighting Movsar is that he's just got dominating grappling, and you would have thought, okay, maybe Pico can stop that. But of course, lots of people have thought they could do that and then couldn't get over it. But the difference is Movsar is going to create contact, right? He's going to make contact with you. He's going to wrap up with you. He's going to shoot on you. He's going to try and get your back, right? He is going to make physical contact with you. Murphy is not that guy. Pico's challenge here, it's not just striker versus grappler because Murphy can grapple, obviously, but it's a different challenge where now Murphy, and by the way, I guess it would have been the same size cage. Either way, it's going to be the big cage. He's going to be playing keep away.
I know.
And now Pico has to wrestle him a little bit, or at a bare minimum, not just strike with him, BC. People think it's striking versus grappling. No, you have to find this guy.
Yeah.
He's a touch and go guy. That is a completely different fight than Movsar. Movsar is not that guy. He's contact.
Okay, I get it on 3 weeks' notice. And if fighting Evloev was a major deal because it's almost as if UFC doesn't want to put him in the title shot, even though he deserves it. So you beat him, you're getting catapulted. I think still Lerone Murphy is the level of opponent, a quasi-title contender in this division where he almost fits the same category. But is this the right move overall, Luke? Even with the original matchup, it is they put you in the frying pan, right in the damn deep water. I can use all those terms there. They always do that. But is this the type of guy you should do that to, or should you almost kind of set him up to look good in the right style matchup because he's young enough that you actually could build around him?
Well, so that's exactly the point. Not only could Pico lose here, he could lose here in a way where, not that he would get thrashed per se, although, anything's possible.
He could look limited and boring.
Bingo. He can be made to look like low rent.
Yeah.
He can be, which is not fair because Lerone Murphy's real good, but I'm saying Lerone Murphy's style, assuming he's ready, Pico's going to have to find a way to corner and control him. So does he wrestle him? Does he get too aggressive again? Like this is not just a completely different challenge in Movsar. In some ways, strategically, a little bit more of a complex one in terms of what kind. At least with Movsar, you kind of have a sense of what offense am I going to have ready? What are the pieces I'm going to have to build around that? With Murphy, it's, I think, much, much harder to figure that out. So Murphy is coming in on shorter notice, and I do think that changes the equation somewhat. Do we know if it's 5 rounds? Is it a 5-round main event, Long Island Luke?
I think it's only 3. I can look into it.
Oh, that's even worse. That's a tough.
So originally it was a 5-rounder, right? Originally the Evloev fight was 5 rounds?
Originally the Evloev fight was.
I wonder if the 3-week notice on this bumps it down.
Which is understandable for Murphy. I get it.
Murphy, though, as we already know, 16-0-1, but it is that last fight against Josh Emmett, the 5-round decision in April. That
Emmett is not as polished. Emmett is a harder hitter, but he's not as polished.
Right, but that didn't make you want to insert him into a title shot. You got the feeling he's going to win safely and continue on and take, put the least amount of risk. He's one of those type of fighters. He plays the edges. He's gonna do just enough to win in some cases while making you look bad. You can in a sense, the UFC can eliminate that with Pico getting a tough win here, and then, like we said, he's going to get elevated to the top.
Well,
But
either
damn,
way,
man.
had he gotten a win over Movsar or Lerone, either way, he would get a title shot. I think there's just no question about that. So the stakes in that particular sense don't change. But if you're Pico's team, man, you really have to. It's like this is a very complicated
I mean, if this is
question.
Brian Ortega per se, just as an example, or Yair Rodriguez, you can say, okay, I can see a scenario where he could get a knockout, where he
Yes.
could control on the ground, or
Yes.
whatever, where he could make this work.
Those guys force contact. Murphy is the opposite of that kind of shit. So you really have to have a strategic vision dialed in and a hardcore execution of it. And by the way, you drop one round, man, and then the other rounds are close. Like, even if you feel like you did enough, and we could say you did enough, it
Sure.
doesn't fucking matter.
Let's see the tweet.
Confirmed, by the way, it's 3 rounds.
Oh, man, dude.
Do you have odds on that from DraftKings?
That's a tough assignment.
I'd love to get early odds. Can we also see this tweet here from Lerone Murphy? I'm going to ask you to do 3 jobs at once here. Here's Lerone Murphy saying, never shied away from a challenge. 3 weeks notice, no problem. Banger, let's go. Considering, though, that Lerone's got wins over Ige, Barboza, if he added Pico to it, and he's still unbeaten. Just the one draw on his record through 17 pro fights. That he'd have a much stronger case here moving forward. But he's also got another albatross in front of him in Evloev, so maybe they make those two fight each other and just still
And also,
keep
and
eliminating.
by the way, here comes Jayon Silva taking on Diego Lopez.
Who's going to get a quick pass to the top with
Easily. So, I mean, Murphy has the disadvantage of 3 weeks, but he's got the huge advantage of, here's a name that people want to see you get beat by.
Yes.
You beat that guy, it could do a lot for you, except if he does it in another boring way, then it just kind of deflates the whole thing rather than lifting himself up.
And we got a post here from Pico on Instagram after the fight fell apart saying,
No, this was after the Movsar fight fell apart.
Yes, he's saying, not going to sugarcoat it. I'm pretty disappointed you pulled out of this one. I get that things happen, and I truly hope that whatever's going on, you recover quickly. That said, my camps ain't cheap, aren't cheap, and I'm ready to get in there and put on a show sooner than later. I understand there's an opening for August 16th. So he did kind of talk his way into it in a lot of ways here. Smart move by Pico.
Also, we should just say it again. Again, this is the way the business works. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
But these plug-and-play scenarios where it's like, hey, you got to take on a striker. Oh, no, 3 weeks later, or 3 weeks notice, it's a change. And now it's going to be a grappler, again, whatever the situation is. And that guy's coming in on short notice, and this guy's having to change last minute. It messes with the kind of fight you would get under an ideal sense. I get that's the way it is.
I just said smart move, but I meant it. If you want the smoke, and Pico wants the damn smoke.
Yes.
Like he's kind of been held the last couple
Chomping
years.
at the bit.
Should have got the Patricio title fight. Never got it. The merger to PFL kind of kept them on the outside, which is why they're gone, Patricio and him. And but he wants it, so that's the way you get it. Say, look, I want to be there on the 319. They gave him a tough opponent. Let's find out. Did you get any odds on that, Long Island?
They haven't been released yet.
All right, I'd be interested to check that out. I want to talk to you about this, Luke. Nothing beats relaxing at home on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. America's game, right? And the simplest way to get in on the action while you're watching is to download that Pick 6 app from DraftKings today. It's crazy simple. You already know it. Pick more or less on statistical categories for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, get it right. You're in the mix for big cash prizes. Hits, strikeouts, all of that. Select 2 or more players, go more or less, and nail your picks, and you're heating up because Pick 6 brings upside with payouts up to 500 times. Ain't that right, LT?
Yes. Sorry. So,
I'll just pick it up from here, Luke. You know, Pick 6
no,
from
let me do it. I apologize. Pick 6 from DraftKings is the most fun way to play fantasy sports, boys and girls. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use the code COMBAT. That's combat with a K. And by the way, if you use that code, combat with a K, for new customers, you're going to get a special sign-up offer. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 8887-897777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void or prohibited. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Well done right there.
Sorry about that.
Still to come, your DMs and my shit. But let's hit topic number 5. Saturday night with Xander Zayas in the main event, picking up a vacant junior middleweight title in the WBO. It was the final card for Top Rank in its current run on ESPN that began back in 2017. And with it, at least for right now, officially a temporary end to boxing on network television. You still have PBC on Prime, you still have DAZN doing their things, but Top Rank's still looking for a new deal and a lot of uncertainty about the future and a new player arriving in Zuffa Boxing. Luke, it's tough to hear this in the fallout of HBO's demise in 2018, Showtime Sports stopping boxing at the end of 2023. But let's talk about what this moment actually means and how daunting it is. While boxing could return to the airwaves in the U.S. soon on major television, we'll see how it all plays out. This moment creates something of a bookend to boxing television in the U.S. What's the real reason in your eyes why TV networks have slowly walked away from this sport, even though streaming-wise it's healthy enough at the moment?
So do we have the graphic of all the places where it's no? Yeah, here it is. So it used to be on CBS. Now it's not. It used to be on ABC. It's not. ESPN, again, it could return in some fashion, but it's not. HBO, certainly it's not. NBC, it's not. I mean, again, could return. Who knows? But it's not. Fox, same thing. Showtime doesn't exist anymore in terms of the sports side. And then USA Network. Boxing has essentially at one point and perhaps permanently walked away from all of them. Listen, I missed the whole conversation around the Ali Act, although I'm sure you and Sean Zattel, I saw some of the clips.
He called it the Ari Act,
yeah,
and he's right.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's put that aside for just a minute, because one of the let's go back. I know it might be Orwellian, but they're calling it among other names, they're calling it the boxing revival. Revival is the act. There is a bit of truth to that. Not that they're the ones who are going to revive it per se, but they're taking advantage of it at a very important moment in time. They have waited for the sport and the sports caretakers to let it wither on the vine to such a degree that now is, among other reasons, the perfect time for them to try a takeover or at a bare minimum to assert themselves into the marketplace in a very dominant way. The reality is, BC, I went back and I looked at this. Here are just some facts. Since the end of the Pacquiao-Mayweather era of boxing, pay-per-views never really recovered in this country.
100%. I mean, the upgrade in illegal streaming, the ability to do it even easier has been.
Yeah, but you didn't really develop stars after
True.
that. I mean, that's really the bigger issue to me. So that's one. Something I didn't really fully appreciate until I looked into it, the ratings of boxing before and after COVID collapsed. So that was another part where they just never really, whereas some other sports organizations, UFC included.
UFC also red hot, which could have stolen a casual part of that audience.
I think it absolutely did. And I think more broadly, irrespective of the pandemic, MMA has taken away part of the sporting public consciousness that would pay attention to boxing, and they just kind of redirected it to themselves. Now, of course, that you can expand the pie. It's not altogether siphoning off people in that way. But the reality is, because the sport is so fractured and because the people charged with maintaining the sport's excellence, in particular the sanctioning bodies, have done such a bad job, they have helped guide its irrelevance.
No doubt.
There's just no way around it. And so, because you have an interesting regulatory moment where the timing is right, if you want to just deregulate and strip out protections, it's a good time for you. And then on top of it, because the stakeholders and the people who care for boxing have done such a poor job maintaining its visibility and access in ways, they've ruined it. There is another component. You mentioned it's doing well on streaming. I mean, I don't know if I buy that. Under linear television considerations, there was more I know like there's more money being spent on streaming, but in terms of how much money was being made from television versus how much money is being made from streaming, most sports organizations made more money from linear television,
Sure.
right?
Well, we're in the midst of the change because Netflix is now doing live boxing streaming to huge numbers.
Well, also, May of 2025 was the first time there were more people watching streaming than there were in households than there were watching linear television. That the tipping point was finally achieved. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, a lot of streaming services are not making a lot of money. In fact, the churn has been enormous, and it's been very, very difficult. That means that they're going to cut things that they can rely upon less to generate revenue for them. And outside of big pay-per-views, which, again, the players in the space have a hard time working together to make the biggest fights all the time. Again, there's been some change in that. What I'm saying to you is, if you're running a streaming service, BC, and you need to focus on things that you can guarantee are going to make revenue, particularly at scale with consistency, a league model for sports teams is going to go much further than, oh, we got a one-off in February and then another one in July, and then maybe that falls through because Tank hit his girlfriend again, allegedly, in Florida. So all of these factors, to me, have sucked the life out of UFC boxing, and as a consequence, the timing is, if you're just Dana White and the TKO, it's fucking perfect for them to just snatch it up by the back of the neck.
Think of the people that might be voting on this, congressional bill. People that go, yeah, I remember when I used to watch boxing, it was more fun. It felt like it was more organized. We need something to fix that. Well, they seem to have the perfect antidote with the headlines of it's going to be safer, it's going to be all this. But we got into that on Friday, and I think you certainly know our stance. I'm not going to say this is much ado about nothing. I'm not going to say this doesn't mean anything. And I know it's going to sound like the typical boxing guy as there's a fire behind him going, nothing to see here. We're fine. And that's sort of my history in my coverage of boxing. Because boxing's always on fire in negative ways and then alternates quickly to be on fire in good ways, but then can return right there. I think a lot of it, though, has to do with the changing trends. I mean, streaming's taking over the impact and the value of network TV. So, of course, you would see some of those numbers changes. You also have to look at things like DAZN is putting on like 70% of the boxing that's televised these days.
That's a disaster.
I know. At least when it was in the Showtime and HBO era, you would have people who had Showtime and HBO for other reasons, scripted series, movies, whatever. And then it's like, oh, a fight's on. Let me see who's watching. You're never going to get that in the American market on DAZN, yet they have all, you know what I mean? And then it's like the part that I really don't love about this React is that they're pushing it from the stance of like, can't you see boxing's dead in America? Well, yeah, I think Turkey played a role in that. Yeah. Not just putting all of his fights on DAZN again, where people can't stumble into it, but putting fights out of Las Vegas and putting them, too often or unnecessarily in certain situations.
Yeah, but in fairness to Turkey,
no, I'm saying it all matters. It all plays in. Also, this is the end of a current era. And I'm not saying this was the best era the last 10, 15 years. The era here where we went away from what Prime, HBO, and Showtime used to be, where any promoter can come to them and they're going to pay the highest dollar for the best fights. That went away when exclusive contracts started. And exclusive contracts allowed promoters to, be up longer, have more money at their disposal. And we did have a good era of big end fights, but that also breeds more segregation and promoters not working together unless a fight is big enough where you can do a 2-network pay-per-view. This is the end of that era, and that era has to die for a new one to begin in some ways. So I don't necessarily look at it as, can't you see this sport's dead? The sport's a niche sport. It has the opportunity when done right, in the right matchup, you shoot it to the masses, it can do bigger than anything else in sports. That's still true. But we're coming off of that era, which wasn't a fully healthy one, where the networks lost their teeth, where they just gave the keys to the promoter coming in that they signed the deal with and said, in some cases, you matchmake, you do everything. You program this for us. That's the UFC model, to be fair. You know what I mean? In that regard. And I think we got to get around that and see what's next. Is Netflix going to become the new, what HBO meant to boxing in the late 90s, right? Where only the best fights, no matter who the promoter is, you bring the fight to us, we'll give it to you. It's going to have to change in that regard. Also, my source is telling me ESPN's not done at all with boxing.
Yeah, again, we're only,
Top Rank's about to announce.
We're only having
thing.
This conversation at a moment where right now, there's
and so
nothing.
I'm saying it could look worse than it actually is. I'm not saying it's overly super healthy.
You would agree. Since the last 5 years, and in particular the last 10, boxing is not as healthy as it was even 10 years ago.
You could
in
say
2015,
that, but then
bro,
I could tell you that 2023 was an insanely great sport, and that's before Turkey even got here. It was an insanely great year for the sport, I meant.
2023 was a great year.
And we also had post-pandemic years have been pretty damn good.
Okay, but to me, the common denominator is the withdrawal of network television from boxing has been, in the United States, devastating. Because as I understand it, it's still on network television in places like the UK. Right? I mean, they have something of a pay-per-view model there, but they also have a lot of stuff that's on over-the-air television.
Sure.
I did a sports radio show recently in my local market, and they were asking me, the question was, what happened to boxing? And I was like, oh, but look at this, look at this, look at this. And they're like, we can't name any top boxers. I mean, they know who Canelo is maybe, but we can't name any American top boxers. How many people can name top American boxers anymore?
I mean, they really couldn't since the 90s, to be fair. And that's the difficulties.
Floyd, everyone knew who Floyd was. Who's Floyd's replacement in the American market? Nobody.
It was Floyd and Pacquiao. And
Pacquiao's not American. In the American market.
Get that. Okay, but he was pretty damn sellable.
He was huge here. I get it. But I'm saying, as an American fighter who is the guy who is that now?
There was not a succeeder in that.
Not even
we had
close.
to use Canelo. We had to use whoever. Yes.
Not even close.
But that doesn't matter to me because up until basically this past year, America was, the U.S. was still the brightest stage for boxing because of Las Vegas, right? So it almost didn't matter to me. I get what you're saying, but as long as it can be communicated to an American audience, and Pacquiao did that, Canelo did that to a certain degree, Triple G for a short window did that to a certain degree. It's really everything all at once, but I don't think it's also the end. This era has to end for a new one to start, and we're in the midst of that transition. What is the new era going to look like? That's what we're debating every episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's not fully held. It's not great. It's not a great stat to see all these networks not covering it. But ESPN's about to bounce back. We're going to see Zuffa Boxing land in a big channel. Could be ESPN.
Yeah,
we'll see
but
what
Zuffa
happens
Boxing
right
doing the UFC thing to me is not boxing's revival.
Believe me, but I agree with you on that. Top Rank, if you've seen Bob Arum interviews over the weekend, is about to announce they're going to be on streaming. They said they're going to be on regular cable. Like there's going to be a couple partners right there. So we'll see what that plays out. It's still, we have to get away from a network's overpaying promoters to play just their fights. And we are getting away from that to a certain degree. But what's it going to look like with
Do you
zone
not agree, though,
dominance?
that there's a part of this conversation that has to get made? Is one, the sanctioning bodies have fucked everything up by not forcing the fights that deserve to get made.
Sure.
Two, the exclusive contracts, as you pointed out, there has been, if the promoters across the aisle were more willing to work together to make big fights, do you believe network television would still be in boxing, or I should say, have a bigger footprint than it has now?
Of course.
Okay.
The boxing had to rely on the pay-per-view system to its own fault. Even they had to rely on that golden era of Showtime and HBO competing against each other to their own fault because it split the market. You're no longer on network TV. You're on pay cable, but at least there's enough casual overlap into pay cable in those runs.
I'm as happy as the next guy to say that what's coming, I think, is going to have a lot of problems. But there's simply no denying that the architects and maintainers of boxing, as we understand it today, have played a substantive role in the reason why I think a Zuffa takeover is inevitable.
But the answer is the Zuffa take. The question is the Zuffa takeover the right answer, or are you just giving away all of your rights as a fighter and as a rival promoter and allowing an entity to come in and on day one having a monopoly? Because that's what we're setting this up to be.
Let me say something very quickly. I want to connect the dots here a little bit. Folks might say, again, isn't there some benefit to monopoly in sports, considering like the NFL, for example, has it, and certain sports leagues have antitrust exemptions explicitly.
They also have players' unions. And
of course, putting aside the fact that there's protections and everything else like that, I'm just simply saying, isn't there some kind of, like, if you're a network and someone's like, oh, you can have all the best fights, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, we want that versus some fractured environment. It just works better in that way. But I want to be clear about something. If the game is to ultimately control what kind of money is made by the athletes, I think people have I don't think people have connected the dots in MMA as much. Like, why is MMA in decline in the way that it is? Many, many reasons for it. Not UFC per se, but MMA more broadly, but UFC too. Like, why is the heavyweight division so fucking bad?
Right.
It's many reasons. One of them has got to be that you are not putting out enough of an incentive to attract athletes over the course of generations that make this worth it their while. So, yes, could there be some kind of benefit to consolidation for a network to then really get behind the product? Yes. However, the long-term cost of making the athletes take less, there's no such thing as a free lunch. You will have to pay that tax over the course of 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And I don't think it's going to result necessarily in all of the ease and understanding that we typically have with boxing.
Will we end up comparing the RE Act to the Patriot Act in the same overreaction?
I don't think you're going to get people marching in the streets over the RE Act, but
it's the same level of extreme overreaction. Like, something needs to change, and it's changing.
Well, dude, I mean,
we're in the midst of change.
It's so funny.
But the answer isn't one store and that's it. The answer isn't Walmart.
Let's just be very clear about it. TKO is trying to use the federal government to write custom legislation to entrench their market position.
And now you got Nikisa of MVP being like, yeah, this is what needs to happen. We can be a UBO too.
It's it's just unfucking believable. That's what's happening. You're having companies write federal legislation to entrench position. It used to be the case that they wanted to, work with the government, right? Like we were going to run towards regulation. And now what they're trying to do is become so powerful that they get to define what regulation even looks like.
Regulators, mount up.
So anyway, That's what's happening here. And I just think long term, if you're going to undercut what makes it valuable to the athlete, that will hurt the product long term. And I think some of those fruits are being borne out here in MMA today. There you go.
And not all change is negative, and there could be positives to the sport of organizations.
Yeah, good luck. The TKO cruiserweight belt coming your way.
But you've seen the recent history that it's actually not beneficial for the athletes themselves, then that's where the argument begins in my eyes. We have a tweet here from Dan Rayfield to sum it all up on the impact of this moment. The last top-rank event of its ESPN contract airs Saturday. After that, there'll be no regularly scheduled boxing on linear TV in the U.S. for the first time since essentially the early 1940s, when TV became widely accessible. Shame on the stewards of the sport who let it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say he's wrong.
No, he's not wrong.
And I can't say the force sanctioning body system has been awesome for the sport.
They've been thieves of the sport.
But you're gonna have to figure out if you want the extreme opposite of that, and that's the UFC monopoly system. So that's what you're getting.
Do you want combat sports to turn into banquet food? Because that's what you're going to get.
Yeah, there it is. That's our take on that. Those are your 5 topics for the week. Argue amongst yourselves in the comments, please. Also, we give you a chance every Sunday evening to have your questions answered, okay? So we put out the bat alert light thing on Instagram and on X at Morning Kombat. You'll respond to that. You'll maybe get on the show, but you got to compete with Flannels and Jits and Daz down there in Mahalo land. This one's called DMs from the Donk. I mean, that just sounds so awful, Luke.
I hate it, but the fans love it, and so therefore we are stuck with it.
First question you got, producers. It comes to us from Jack Haggerty. Luke, who's next for Robert Whittaker? Oh, we stole his thunder here and doing this joke earlier.
That's fucking hilarious.
John Jones at the 205. I mean, what were you thinking, Luke?
I was just trying to make use of the game as best I could.
Yeah.
Dude, getting up here and being like, he should retire, like, there's just no way that he's going to do that, right? I mean, that seems so implausible. So, like, you have to think of it. Strickland fight to me. Strickland fight.
I'd rather shower bullet.
See, now you're giving him fights that are going to cost him some damage.
Yeah, in the long run?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they all are. They all will. Who we got next up in this piece? From R. Kirk 310, welcome to the party. Love to hear your opinions on Merab Dvalishvili. Corey Sandhagen is coming up at UFC 320.
We got to get questions that are picked that are not derivative of the actual topics that we have. They need to be distinct. I'm just going to say that out loud.
Fair question. You're excited for that fight, aren't you?
I am excited for that fight. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. I'm not picking against Merab until he loses.
But smart of you talking about a guy on a 14-fight win streak.
I'm just saying, like...
Or looking for a 14.
What is the best way to beat Merab? Sandhagen's way is not in... If you fought him 100 times, he would lose the majority of them.
Yes.
However, saying, fuck it, I'm going to go for broke on this fucking guy, I think is by far your best chance to do it. You have to finish him.
You gotta be smart, but you got to be smart. I don't think you have to finish him. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying someone's going to do it.
You have to have an approach where finishing him... You're right, you don't.
You got to win 3 rounds at the end of the day. Don't make it harder than it is.
But you have to have an approach that legitimately threatens him. And that means you have to fucking have a little bit of recklessness in
You've got to discipline him. You've got to take away him free willing.
That's not holstering offense. That's letting it go.
Interesting. Let's hear from the next
Gatling gun
from the next person that wants. This is from Ethan Tagger. How do you guys see the 154-pound division playing out? A lot of great names in and near the division right now, and I think some of the best fights that can be made are in this group. They're definitely talking about boxing. It's a deep as shit division at the very top.
Boots re-signed with Matchroom.
Boots at the very top, re-signed with Matchroom. Virgil Ortiz Jr. at the very top, coming off the win over Madrimov. Fundora just had the second win over Zoo. Then you've got Erickson Lubin, who's got a big fight coming up against, who is it? It's Bakram Murtazaliev. It's going to be a title fight. Murtazaliev has one of the other belts. Terrence Crawford has a belt, but I don't really consider him in this division at this moment, although he said he might come back.
Yeah, right.
And then you've got, who's the guy that dropped Virgil Ortiz twice? Ukrainian guy, Tom Loeffler's guy.
Boachuk,
Sergey Boachuk, another player at the very top of this division. This division's freaking awesome. Jermel Charlo and Keith Thurman, 2 senior guys. I'm still looking for big fights.
Let me throw you a name out there. Do you consider him at all a player? Errol Spence.
Another name, throw him with those two old names. And then you've got Xander Zayas, 22 years old, just became the youngest male champion. Didn't beat a killer. Some people thought he was too defensive and
B- performance.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But he is a player in this mix as well. Who's going to be standing at the end of it? Right now, I'm putting my money on
Boots.
I think the finals, if there was a tournament, would come down to Boots and Virgil Ortiz.
If you made a
at this moment,
yeah.
But Fundor's a wild card.
Fundor's a wild card. I totally agree. I've slept on him. He just keeps winning. Although the Mendoza win is hard for me to like. Every time I see it, I'm like, how do people keep losing to this fucking guy? But if you made a bracket, you'd have to put Boots and Virgil on opposite sides of the bracket.
It's a great division. We'll see what happens there. What else you got, Chin? From Kevin Mitchell _79. If you could transplant the Pride rule set into any current promotion, which one would benefit most?
PFL.
And would fans actually go for it? Let me add in that Habib had an interview, and he said that he wished the UFC went to, I believe he said, either 15-minute first round or in title fights a 25-minute first round. Just no rounds. It's basically just fight, right?
Yeah, I don't like that.
If we took the Pride rule set, including the round setup, including the barbaricness of it, you think PFL could benefit from it?
You would need to be an alternative to the UFC.
Yes.
What better way to do that than have 10-minute first rounds,
Gotta be
fighting in a
ECW,
ring,
fighting against
having
WCW.
big theatrics, also soccer kicks, stomps, score the fight as a whole, not round by round. Yes, you have rounds, but you don't score the rounds.
Would you like messy trash talk and like BKFC style promotion?
No. Pride.
It can be
Pride
professional?
style.
Okay. No,
Pride
I'm saying
style.
in the way you market and promote, and like BKFC is very like white trash fight at a Sunday.
Yeah, I
Picnic
mean,
type
people
thing.
talking about swallowing semen in their press conferences.
true.
No, you don't have to do any of that. But you wouldn't. Again, you have to be an alternative to the UFC, not UFC light. No one fucking wants that.
Yeah, Don does though. Don just got more investment money. Did you see that? A lot more investment money.
From where?
I forgot who. From who?
Did you see how much?
Yeah, I forgot all the information that goes with that. But Don Davis had just brought in another big whale. I
mean, they keep. I'm not gonna say scamming investors, but they keep getting money from investors
from India. From India.
Oh,
big
is that right?
India investment.
They can't get hey, investors in the PFL, you're not getting that money back. Just so you know.
Interesting stuff right there. Do we have another one from these people?
Here we go.
Oh, from Nankisor. Who would win in an MMA fight right now? Oh, they're talking about this online. So Bella Mir, the daughter of Frank Mir, improved to 4-0 over the weekend.
Yeah, the chicken wing submission.
Chris Benoit style, cross wing, chicken face, chicken
I mean,
wing.
that's a very, you got to be careful of invoking that name.
And now Bella was asked about it at her press conference, the idea of fighting Maya Lesnar.
What weight class does Bella Mir fight in? Do we know?
I don't know. But Mir is interested. It would obviously be a continuation of the rivalry between their fathers. Did you see that Maya Lesnar has?
She married
she's in a relationship with an NFL player. Yes, yes. I don't know if they're.
I mean, those kids are going to be fucking hoss athletes.
Is she a 4-time NCAA champion?
I don't know, but she's obviously decorated. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know how to even answer this. We saw Banky Eubank. I don't think this is quite like that, but Bella Mir looks interesting as a prospect. I'll say that. She looks like she's got something interesting going on.
Would you say the same thing about another amateur prospect? I wish I grabbed the photos or video. I didn't, but he puts MK on the crotch, and his name is Christian DeGiro.
Yeah.
And over the weekend, did you see he won his final amateur fight? He's got the championship
I did some
belt.
tape study for him recently.
He's going to turn pro next.
Yeah, I did some tape study for him.
I love that. I love that.
He I don't know if he wants me to say this, but he sent me some footage of him sparring. And I, did a little help for him.
Putting that MK on the crotch.
I mean, I got to be honest. I don't know how much help I actually gave him, but I tried.
Ahead of his pro debut, let's get him on the show, all right?
Love to. Yeah.
We'd love to talk to that guy. He's been with us he came to the 3 Margarita show, by the way.
Did he? Oh, that's right. He did. I forgot about that.
He told me he's going to fight in the UFC one day, and I was like, you're damn right you are.
He might.
All right. Shout out to that
I just want to say Bellamir fights at 125.
Bellamir 125.
Yeah, I don't. Do we know how much Maya Lesnar? Hold on, I want to actually answer
I think Maya had even said that she assumes. I'm sorry. I think Bella had said that she believes Maya's over 200 pounds because of the muscles.
Yeah. So Maya Lesnar, looking at her track and field thing she goes to Colorado State.
Yes.
They don't have. They just have all of her wins. And
looks like they don't have height and weight for a young woman.
Well, I mean, she's an athlete, bro. Asking what their height and weight is not an unreasonable question.
Don't ask women their age, though, Luke.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But anyway, yeah, I'm not.
You're
just let Bellamir have her own career,
And Maya Lesnar. Do you think Maya Lesnar will end up getting into combat sports at all?
I hope not.
Okay. What about Rousey and Travis's kids?
I haven't thought about it.
All right. What about Tisha and Rocky's kids?
Yeah, once again, these are not questions I've pondered. to any
Okay.
significant
Hey,
degree.
this is what I did on Sunday, guys. I went through the internet and I scoured the globe for the highs and lows, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between in the worlds of combat sports and beyond. Now, I don't want to boast. I don't want to, like, call my shot, Luke Thomas, but I told Nocita this is going to get an A from you, today's batch.
Let's see what you got.
This is The Colonel's in My Shit. Have you seen it? Luke, R.I.P. to our childhood heroes, but we have the first picture of Hulk Hogan in heaven, Luke, after his death at the age of 71. That's not acceptable. Okay, that is just, wow.
He loved the N-word, didn't he?
There was a time, yes.
A time? You mean the last 40 years?
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I didn't like mourn it because
he
kind of let me down as a fan.
He was larger than life in the 80s. I remember my brother got for his birthday. Do you remember the Hulkamania workout set?
Yeah, dude, I had
the
everything.
dumbbells.
I had that too. I had that
like,
too.
He was larger than life, but he loved the N-word. That's a reality.
It did happen. Also, we lost Ozzy Osbourne of Black Sabbath faith, of solo faith, of metal faith, of biting bats off of the heads off of bats. Here's a tribute to him.
Crazy Train songwriter Ozzy Osbourne died today, which is a coincidence because I had a crazy train ran on me by 8 mentally ill black guys at the truck stop last night.
Okay.
That's aggressive.
Right.
That is very aggressive.
He got a little racial with it there. Was that Hulk Hogan in heaven there? Who was that?
R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne, apparently. Luke, let's go to Jeopardy. Did you see this question?
Is presumed to be 14 in boys and 12 in girls. Tom, what is the age of consent? No.
Okay.
Just wow.
Tom, you're
wow.
going to have to leave the stage, bud.
All right, let's get flatulent, Luke. This would be you at a construction site. Yes.
That was me this morning on the train.
On the damn train? Oh, my God, that's disgusting.
By the way, can I tell you one of my least favorite things about Europe?
Okay. The bidets?
No, bidets would be great. First of all, my wife goes, oh, the bathrooms in Europe are so much better. I'm like, you're out of your mind. First of all, they don't use urinal cakes in the men's room. Just automatic red flag. But that's not my main complaint. My main complaint is that they make you wipe and then throw it in the garbage rather than in the toilet itself. Let me tell you, I didn't listen to that at all. I threw it right in the fucking toilet.
Oh, wow. I didn't want to know any
Fuck
of
Europe.
that. Have you ever been in the backseat of a car when you had a crap and like your parents were like, don't crap in my car?
Yeah, I one time shit my pants doing that.
Oh,
My dad got really mad at me.
Watch this, family.
Stop right now. Quit. Don't you dare poop in my car. It's coming. Jeff, pull over right now. He has pooped in the car. Is he crapping?
Is he crapping? Is he crapping?
I've literally done that.
While hosting this show, you have. Okay. Also, Luke, wise words here from Socrates. You have respect for Socrates, right? A great philosopher, thinker.
Well, okay, yes, go ahead. I was going to do a Wu-Tang thing, but yes.
If you fart, they will forget in a day, but if you shit yourself, they will remember for a lifetime. You got to make big plays to be a big player.
So crazy.
I don't think that was Socrates.
I think it was. He was right on.
Or as they said in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Socrates.
Yeah, I just said it. Yeah, let's
Oh,
go
you
to
did?
the hardwood here. Here's your baller of the week. This comes from somewhere in Asia. Watch these moves.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if that's the Philippines, but watch this guy.
Okay. All right. Maybe just play the fucking game, asswipe.
Watch. He's playing, Luke.
Wow.
Player's going to play. Yeah. Number 69 loves that.
He seems delightful.
All right. Luke, do you like basketball where everyone can play, right?
You like intramural?
Yeah, like give everyone a chance. Let's watch this game.
Uh-oh. Is that traveling?
All right. Hey, let's go to the soccer event.
I called it.
You did.
I called it.
Let's go to the soccer match. Watch the second deck here of the upper deck.
Fucking hell.
Got to be careful.
Yeah,
no.
there they go.
Oh, my God.
Bye, guys.
Oh, God, we just added to the death toll of this program's history.
Well, you know what? I think 10 people just died on the show.
That's something here. Let's go to Big John Fury, father of Tyson, talking about the idea of Jake Paul and AJ boxing.
Tyson says he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out
This is
Joshua.
what I'm saying. How does that work?
He can't, can he?
Anthony Joshua could knock Jake Paul out with his dick.
True or false?
I don't want to see it.
Okay.
I wouldn't pay for it.
Okay, we've got KOs of the week, though. I think you're going to want to see this. Watch this bartender and watch the patron and the 49ers.
No, which bartender?
Jersey.
The left or the right?
That guy right there. Watch him. Watch him. You don't mess with certain bartenders. Luke Thomas knows. Oh, wow. Wow.
Wow. So my man walked behind the bar.
Yep, and bumped him.
Oh, he just hold that bitch.
So you can't go back there. It's like when the fans jump into the
Yeah,
wrestling
you absolutely
ring, you're
cannot
gonna
go
get
back
stomped.
there. Yeah.
You know that as a former bar back and former door worker.
That's right.
Yeah, Joe Rogan knows that because he dresses like those guys in every UFC card. All right, Luke, let's watch this soccer fan. This is also one of the KOs of the week. Check out this soccer fan. Follow the ball.
Oh damn.
Man, he stayed standing though. All right, he took the standing 8 count right there.
Okay.
Yikes.
So far, this is not an A.
Okay, well then let's call in from the bullpen. Here's Weird Cake Lady. She's back from France.
You
Luke.
absolute shitbag. Oh my God, bitch. Please stop. Oh, stop. Yeah, why don't you? Why don't you, you unbelievable fucking weirdo?
How close are we to her just cutting a dong off and taking a big bite of cake, Luke?
Dude, she looks like...
Let's go to the yearbook quote of the week.
I'm going to end up in jail or working at Olive Garden. Either way, endless salads are getting tossed. Okay. All right. That's very delightful.
So far, this is getting a D+ grade from Luke Thomas. Well, let's do what you
that was
like to do.
amusing.
1 to 10. It's time to rate that tat. Bruce Lee up first, Luke. What do you think?
I had 80 million people send me this.
Well, give us a 1 to 10 because it's pretty inventive.
-8 billion.
Get out of here.
-8
Not even
billion.
a 6?
-9 billion now that you bring it up. A terrible, stupid tattoo for dumb fucks everywhere.
Wow.
Congratulations, asswipe.
Wow, I'm shocked. I mean, you give Mr.
Why
Hebos
would this
over
in any way be cool?
Would you rather have Mr. Hebos' tattoo of
Yes.
Emily Whitmire on his
Yes.
forearm? Okay.
Yes.
Let's go to the plan ahead tweet. Tat. Let's see if you can rate this.
Plan. Two.
All right. All right. Some people put their childhood on their body, Luke. Rate this from 1 to 10 if you're a big Home Alone and or Yankees fan.
So that's actually pretty well done. I wouldn't want it, but it's not a poor tattoo. 6, maybe.
Okay. We'll take that. Luke, let's go to the baseball stadium. Will this one day be the true test of our friendship in your eyes? Would you do this on
look at
camera
Lady
with
and
me?
the Tramp here. Are they going to smooch at the end of this thing?
I don't know what happens when they get to the end, but I might want to sit around and watch. Wow, Luke.
Dude, we got to get one of those.
That would, I mean, all the people that want us
What
to bang.
would we do if we got to the end? Are you going to kiss me?
No, this is weird. No, it got weird. Luke, you know what can happen at regional MMA, right?
Anything.
Anything can happen. Here's your regional MMA post-fight interviews of the week. Check out this new training plan.
So, I'm happy.
So you're happy. So how are you going to celebrate the victory tonight?
Crack cocaine and hookers.
I like that everybody was all in on that. They're like, yeah,
My new favorite fighter.
All right. We got one more for you. This fighter hates women, Luke.
That shit happens to me all the time. I'm used to this shit. I fucking train with Ray Borg. He's a fucking flyweight, motherfucker. I'm fucking heartbroken. Time out. The only reason I got into this sport was because these fucking stupid girls want to keep fucking breaking my fucking arm. And my grandma fucking died. So yeah, I'm a little heated. So fuck off.
Well, it was very impressive, man.
Coming to an
Ian, we look
XFC
forward to
cage
seeing
near
you again. Your winner, Ian Barella.
It's a bold strategy to win.
Yeah, I can't imagine why women wouldn't be flocking to his front door.
Yeah, indeed. Smoke him if you got him time. You always got to be looking in the background of these local news clips. Look at the fella on the deck up there.
Is that a bong?
That is a bong.
Well, that's an American hero. Where is this? Where is this?
It looks very California-like to me, but I have no idea.
Yeah, it's palm trees and shit. That's all. That's amazing.
That's good stuff there. Luke, sometimes you just got to dive into your dreams here like this fella.
What is that?
Weed.
That's marijuana?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I'd like to do that naked. How about you?
Where was that?
I don't know, but I want to go there. Shirts of the week time. Let's see if this can save our failing shit right here.
Mouths don't get... Okay, this gentleman is quite delightful.
Okay, I keep skipping clips. Can we go back to the other weed one I got right here, Luke? This is what it looks like. Everyone's like, what are your pre-show MK meetings like? Let's.
All right, guys. We gotta repair this spaceship. You guys ready?
Yeah.
They're already high.
Space. Let's go.
This is Ken, Nadir, Long Island Luke, you and me, right when we get here, right?
Yeah, my man already tapped out. I'm not kidding. You would have to get me to sign like a power of attorney before doing that because I'm not taking that thing off. I'm not taking the helmet off.
Yeah,
I'm wearing that thing until the wheels fall off. You understand?
All right, your T-shirts of the week. We have the mouths don't get. Yeah, we got that one. Let's go to this next one, Luke. Nostalgic music fans here.
I'm going to read it. I got pegged at a Creed concert, and I pegged my man at a Creed concert. Okay, where is a drive-by shooter when you need one?
Let's go to Grandma here. She's got the bonus hat of the week.
I mean, I think that might be photoshopped.
Did I get AI?
Dude, look, why don't you Photoshop some teeth on this fucking gremlin? Good Lord.
All right, let's go over to the next one. I have no idea what it is.
Miss, are you concerned at all about nuclear weapons being built in North Korea?
Yes.
You think we should put sanctions on them? You think that'll work?
No.
Why not?
I really don't have time for the red, but no. Okay.
All right, speaking of that,
that was cruel but funny.
Okay, time for your grandmas of the week. Let's go to the men's room.
My son's birthday today. He talking about that. Can you take her to the movies? Ma'am, you in a male's bathroom? Why is a female in a male's bathroom?
Why is he counting money?
What the fuck? Son, let's go.
Who the fuck takes a selfie video in the fucking bathroom like that?
Don't mess with grandma in the drive-thru.
Bro, did you see her walking out? Her life expectancy is Thursday.
Especially if she fought this next grandma. Let's watch this.
Oh, she went to the drive-thru?
How y'all doing? I'm sorry.
You good? Good. How you doing?
Terrible. You tell that fat bitch your name, my daughter gonna come down here and whoop her fat ass. Right. You gotta know that because she disrespect me. No. And I'm gonna be her grandma. Tell her my daughter gonna whoop her fat ass.
Dude, old people don't give a fuck.
They going crazy.
First of all, based on their accents, that sounded like Maryland. That lady is amazing. More fist fights is what I want to see.
We close this week with your joke of the week from Charlemagne the God.
When you first got the information, did you ever say to yourself, it was that nasty bitch from Sacramento who did that? Well, you...
Okay, maybe we didn't hit AIDS.
He was
this
asking
week.
about the AIDS?
Yeah, he did ask about the hive. Yeah, that is that's something right there. What are you going to grade it, Luke?
C-.
Oh, come on. I thought that one had potential, Long Island, Luke.
Long Island, what would you grade that one?
I mean, Luke's got to react good to it for it to have a high grade, so I'll go B-.
Yeah,
I will tell you, the traveling, that one.
That was right on.
That one got me.
morningkombat@gmail.com to reach the show. Let's make fan subs great again this Friday. Also, your dead wrongs. Or maybe just reach out and complain. Whatever you got for us, you can do that. Just don't show your dong, please. morningkombat.shop if you want to dress like us. Okay, what are you wearing today? Oh, you're wearing the bomber jacket. I like that.
Yeah, I don't. We don't sell these right now, do we?
We don't currently sell these. No, you know.
We will soon.
I'd like
I
to
hope.
again. I'd like to again. Final days here in July for the new releases of this month, and they will not be back. So if you want a 3 Margarita shirt, a BC Technical Thriller, or the signed or unsigned Lucha poster, order now. morningkombat.shop. We also sell coffee mugs and a lot of other great stuff. All of the proceeds, by the way, go to Long Island Luke Thomas, and myself, BC.
Dude, I want to get that glizzy, and we got to share it and see what happens in the middle.
We'll just go full on Lady and the Tramp style.
Just see what happens right in the middle. I don't know.
That's I don't. Yeah, I mean for the fans, for the fans, right?
That's right.
That's it. That's it for the fans. Long Island Luke, can we expect anything from you this week on the main card minute?
Yeah, I'll be doing a watch along on Saturday. Also, we got this last minute main event now, so my bet breakdown might be a little delayed this week. But,
Okay,
we'll get it out either way.
Okay, all those great fans of your show, including the Just Bleed radio crew. Shout out to them. You big Sandine guy?
Dave Sandy?
Yeah,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, old
Very
old
supportive.
man Dave.
Very supportive.
Yes. Once bought a woman of the night, but it's not like we reference that every time.
I cannot tell you how many guys I know that have bought whores. It is much more than you would imagine.
Yeah.
And I mean, many I never suspected until I remember I one time told them, like, oh, I knew a bunch of Marines who bought whores. And they're like, well, this one time I traveled internationally, and I'm like, you bought whores too? A bunch of guys.
Dude, I went to Montreal for New Year's Eve of 2000. Not 99 into 2000, but the next year.
Prostitution legal there?
I don't know, but when I came back to my job then the next Monday morning, there was this guy, Abdul, and he was like incredulous that I did not purchase sex.
Couldn't believe it.
Like, just was like, why did you? He basically was like,
Yeah,
why
would you go to
even
Montreal if you can't buy whores? Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, I didn't have that on my. I mean, I was close to that activity. I was pretty close to that activity, but you know.
Yeah, I know a bunch of guys who did it. And the other part too is they would do it like women. You would just like, why?
Okay, this got weird. It definitely.
Like, how is that better than touching yourself? I don't know.
Oh wow,
dude! You could be honest. I've seen some of these women that were like, negative threes, and it's like, how is that better?
I don't know. I don't know how it's better, Luke. But that's the show that we got this week. So, it was great reuniting with you.
Okay, should I watch pornography on my laptop on the train ride home?
No, you should not. That's disgusting. I don't think we have anything else to say.
What if it's like tender and they hug each other?
Follow us below on the socials on the. Anything going on Luke Thomas Gets Political? Because you've been blowing up lately.
I mean, obviously took a long week off. Yeah, I may have a bunch of stuff on that, and yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Anything Epstein related?
Nothing yet. I mean, weird as that story is.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
During the show, Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys are asking the Supreme Court to overturn her conviction, so that's fun.
Would you agree with those people that say, well, if Hunter Biden gets to walk, then she can walk?
His interview on Channel 5 was fun, was it not?
Yeah.
Dude, was he not a connoisseur of crack?
He in fact, at a motel in my hometown, as we often talk about.
Oh, that's right.
He enjoyed both crack and hookers, yes.
He's been living life, brother. Don't think he hasn't.
Yeah. Maybe do you think he could become a president one day?
God, I hope not. Well, probably yes, but I hope not.
Well, that's enough political talk for the week. This was Morning Kombat. Nobody brings it like we do. We'll be back Friday, 11 a.m. to set the stage for the weekend to come. Hopefully,
is there any box this weekend? And I don't mean the pornography you're watching.
I don't think there's any. I think there's one fight, and I forgot it offhand. So I don't. I don't think there's anything.
Nothing of significance.
No, I think actually the
UFC BJJ is Thursday, right?
First half of this month is pretty dead for all combat, to be fair, until UFC 3.
I think there's UFC BJJ 2 coming up. Long Island Luke, am I wrong about that?
I haven't really been paying attention.
Yeah, no one really likes grappling, like the jiu-jitsu. It's part. It's part of a larger. It's sort of like I like sour cream, but I wouldn't eat it by the spoonful, right? I need it to be like on like a taco. So to me, BJJ is a condiment
to
fighting in general, MMA.
Oh, so it's like the ketchup on the glizzy that is MMA.
You can't eat straight ketchup. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty bad analogy.
It's like you with tequila. You need a chaser. It's fine. I mean, it's Okay.
I do these days.
Yeah, there it is. All right, that's LT.
Hey, hold on. When's your birthday?
It was Friday.
I missed your birthday.
Yeah, yours is coming up around the corner. So I'm
so
47
sorry.
and old.
Wow.
But you'll be 46 on
I knew it was
5th.
right around this time. I'm so sorry I missed it. Happy birthday,
Thank
dude.
you very much. Also,
did they do anything on the show for you?
They shouted me out, but we had Mike Bone on.
Yeah.
And we played that Getting to Know Mike Bone, get to know Mike Bone better game.
Okay.
And we got the inside scoop on that chick on the plane.
He definitely made out with her, right?
He definitely did. Yeah, it definitely happened. You know,
That's never happened to me.
Well, yeah, but what he articulated, which is the key here, the plane was about to take off, and then they had to go back and they had to get off the plane. So then during the delay, before the plane taking off again, they went to the bar together and they connected, and the alcohol was flowing.
Man, fuck Mike Bone. He ain't shit.
Yeah, shout out to Mike Bone. Are we still live? Hey, this was BC and LT show. We'll be back on Friday. Take care of yourselves. We're out of here. Thank you.